Championship 2019. Four of the finest Ink squads from across the world will be partaking, and joining me, I'm Jordan Kent, your Spray by Spray host, and we have two of the leaders of the Pearl of Arena fan club, Nine and Milano. Welcome to the big stage here. And Nine, as we get set for this action, we've had a chance to see this wonderful Splatoon community grow throughout the years, but there's some folks that are going to get their first flash of ink as they watch this championship here. Tell us a little bit more about why Splatoon 2 is so unique as a game itself.
Unique is the perfect word. This is a fast-paced, multiplayer, objective-based shooter. But unlike some other games, there's a mechanic called ink or turf. Putting that on the ground is going to allow you to move around. It's going to allow you to hide. All sorts of interesting things. We'll go into more detail as the games go.
Well, as always, we have to have rules. We can't just be running around here all willy-nilly. So let's take a look at the tournament rules for the Splatoon 2 World Championships 2019. Up first, we have our ink pools. Ha, this is what we did there. Turf War. Teams will play 2 matches in a mini seeding bracket. After play, the teams will be ranked by their win-loss record. Then we move on to elimination, or our semifinals. Best of 5, you see those ranked modes. Don't worry, we won't leave you in the dark. We'll explain those modes as we approach them. And then the finals, best of 7. You see all the ranked modes there, and we will look to crown a champion at the end of this Splatoon 2 World Championship 2019. And Milana, these teams, if you want to talk about high level, these teams are the personification of that. What kind of strategy will we see from these high level teams?
Well, Jordan, these teams are going to have to play at the top of their game. They're going to have to communicate effectively with each other. They're going to have to play and as a team like they've never played before. They really need to bring their all because they are competing against the best of the best in the world.
And you mentioned that magic word, communication. It's important in all relationships in life, but also Splatoon 2 as well, 2-9. What are some of these teams going to be communicating to as far as each time they take on a match?
The game moves entirely too quickly for one person to see everything. And also, as we mentioned, you can hide in this game, so it's all the more important that everyone is pitching in. If you see somebody coming from the left, maybe call out someone's coming from the left. If you're the backliner who's sitting back, identify where all of them are. It's the most important facet of an already hard game.
As we said, 4 of the finest teams from across the globe. Let's go ahead and take an early look at a couple of our teams that will be competing in this year's Splatoon 2 World Championship 2019. There you have it, 2 of our first teams, Lime Soda representing Australia, New Zealand, and the GG Boys from Japan. Let's start with Lime Soda and Milana. They had quite the journey, Lime Soda from Australia, New Zealand, to get here to these championships. Tell us a little bit more about that story.
So Lime Soda is a team that maybe has gone a little bit unnoticed in the international scene up until their 4-5 reverse sweep against Morning Sun, one of the top teams in the Australia-New Zealand region. They have fought hard to be here, and they deserve their place here. So I'm really looking forward to seeing some gameplay.
Very exciting action there, but Nine, we would be remiss to mention the GG Boys, your defending champions, led by 4 of the finest individual players that have now collectively joined forces to create a formidable team. What is needed from them if they want to hoist up the Splatoon Sterling Squid once again this year?
They're going to have to be better than they were last year. And I know it sounds a little bit weird, right? They won last year, but everyone saw what that was. They are trying to beat what GG Boys was last year. The most important thing for them is, I think, identifying what weapons they want to play, because I know they've been in a bit of a flux recently, and you have to identify what's best.
And Nine, we were talking about that as we were partaking in some physical fitness at the gym this morning, trying to stay healthy, about how this is probably one of the most talented championship setups we've ever seen. We've casted a couple of these championships. These 4 teams are stacked, though.
They are stacked. And I think if you watched last year's Splatoon 2 World Championships, I'll go out on a limb and say that every single one of these teams is better than what was representing them last year. And it's again because the game changes so quickly. If you stay stagnant, you are going to get left behind. This should be a lot of fun from the word go.
And Milana, we're starting with Turf War. So let's break down the strategy with Turf War. Obviously, it says you've got to ink as much turf as possible, but it's so much more than that.
Definitely. The game isn't really played the same throughout that whole 3-minute segment. You have to really focus on getting that middle ground. You wanna take control of the map. You wanna turf as much as you can, and you wanna make sure you don't die. It sounds kind of obvious, but you don't wanna be left in a 3v4 situation.
And you mentioned getting splatted. It seems like for the first half of Turf War, there is an emphasis on splats. At least that's what we heard when talking to the GG boys.
Definitely. By taking out some of the opponents, you are able to make those pushes into their enemy base. You're able to control that turf for a longer period of time.
And 9, as we say, when the popcorn's finally popping in the final 30 seconds of Turf War, what's the most important thing you have to keep in mind?
Hold the line, hold your position, set up, and whatever you do, do not let yourself be sent back to spawn. It is more important that you play cautiously and hold the ground that you've earned yourself over the first few minutes of play.
And 9, we oftentimes talk about team composition and different roles, because obviously all 4 players on a team aren't going to just go out there and do the same thing. You have to work together, you have to talk together, but they have different jobs on the team.
They do, and the most common ones that you're going to hear us talk about are front line, mid line, and back line. And there are a lot of weapons in Splatoon, and a lot of them do different things. But in general, think of the frontliners as the playmakers, the ones who go up and get personal with the opponent. The midliners,
Hey Shane, what's up?
Players, they're going to paint the map a little bit more. They're going to be up assisting, and the backliner, that's the anchor, and it's going to hold the ship down.
We're just a couple minutes away of getting started with our ink pools. You've got the
Dude, don't
GG
forget,
boys, the defending champions from Japan taking on Lime Soda.
I mean, there was stuff that we hadn't seen like built in the course. Basically, all he announced was
with the specials, there's a strategy that these teams use as far as
he said that they're gonna try and make the levels the treehouse makes, like the ones that they showed there, available to everybody when they buy the game. So what that means is there might be like Nintendo submitted official levels like updated on Mario Maker for us to play, which is cool. We already have like the devs themselves are the ones who made the levels for the single player, so now we'll get to probably play special ones that the treehouse makes too. But it was an announcement, I guess. So it does count as an announcement.
Like the pincer somebody right there.
Tezuka himself came out and like said it.
You take a look at the coin toss that we had earlier on, and it looks like Lime Soda.
All right, it's 3 o'clock, man.
Choose Manta Maria for our first.
Let's see if we can find some of these
you're
things.
Obviously very familiar with here, 9. Manta Maria, what are some things you have to keep in mind on this map?
Well, I think it's actually my favorite map in the game, and I think it's because a lot of different weapons can succeed there. The reason that I think they chose this is you see right there, Yoshiko is a backline specialist. She is going to be moving around the top mid area of the map where there's grading. Going to be able to influence a lot there with the long-range weapons, and the GG boys don't have a dedicated backliner. I'm thinking that's why they don't.
And that's a very good point. You look at all the different weapons, and obviously what's interesting about the so-called meta right now with Splatoon 2, Milana, is that so many weapons are viable in play right now.
Definitely. We have some sort of, people think a certain way about certain weapons, but I find that in competitive play, it's been more varied than ever.
Sense and see if anything shows up here.
How the meta is shaped.
And we had that conversation with GG boys here, 9, about how they feel ever since the updates from last year. You mentioned a different GG boys this time around in 2019. They feel long-range weapons.
Oh, that's not a thing that I'm looking for.
Rate this time around, so they've had to change their composition a little bit.
They have, and it's one of the reasons earlier that I said that they're going to need to find the composition that works for them, because as we said, they don't have a true dedicated backliner like some of these other teams. Last year we saw 2 frontliners, sometimes 3 frontliners. That's not going to cut it.
I don't know why
a
Trico decided to show up.
They just have to identify it quickly.
And what's great about Lime Soda, Milana, is that we've been talking with them all week long, and this is a team that's very confident, a very young team, and they know that because of the way that they got here, as you mentioned, the dramatics in their qualifiers.
Any of those peep streamers? I mean, probably. I don't know.
The momentum that they got from that reverse sweep, I think definitely can also carry over to the World Championship. So don't count them out yet. Even though GG Boys was our last year's champion, it still could be anything.
Anything can happen. We'll also introduce the other 2 very strong squads here in just a little bit. We're about 90 seconds away from getting things rolling here, and looking at some of the individuals for GG Boys. You know my heart's with Yamamichi here, 9, but tell us about some of the other players on their squad.
Certainly. The one I'm going to be keeping my eye on is Etana. Etana calls himself the best flex player in the world, and I know that seems like a big claim to make, but he's one of the few that can make it. A flex player is someone who can switch between a number of different weapons on the fly. Dynamon, of course, plays probably the closest thing they have to a backline role or an anchor, and then Taiji going to be on the front lines, opening things up as well.
That's a good point you bring up, the flex player, because GG Boys, they don't have that traditional backliner, that safety valve that's going to make sure that you can always always have somebody to super jump to. They like to play with 2 mid-liners that play that flex position. Very aggressive. However, if you can splat them, you got a hole in their defense.
I think that's what they're going to have to look at, and I think that's where Yoshiko can kind of influence the map. The one thing that can really shut down a midliner is a backliner. Longer range, shut them down from there, get yourself a 4v3 and move in from there.
And you were talking about the advantage,
Hello.
the exponential advantage. We're going to use that term push quite a bit here. Break that down for us a little bit more, Milana, when we talk about teams making pushes during these matches.
So when we talk about pushes, we're talking about
like
teams
what exactly
moving
they
up
could
as one
announce here.
unit into the enemy spawn or into the enemy side of the map. And by
Because
doing
a lot of people
that,
were saying that they had
they
already
can
announced all their DLC.
have more turf, more area to maneuver, and it keeps the
But I
enemies
feel like
back and
every time I've watched one of these
So we're working on a controller
championships
issue right now,
for
but what's
Splatoon,
great
they
here is
always
I can sit up
announce
here and talk
something.
Splatoon 2 with you
Oh,
all
yeah.
day long. 9, here's what's great about Turf War. It is the foundation of every single ranked mode we're going to see. There are other objectives later on in the semifinals and the finals, but it all comes down to controlling turf. Why is that so important?
First of all, you're going to get tired of hearing us say turf control, and I apologize in advance for that. But it is the fundamental building block that every single mode in this game, including the ranked modes, is built on. As we said earlier, you move about the map with extra turf on the ground. It's how you build your specials that we've talked about that can turn a game in a blink of an eye, and it all starts with the fundamentals and the teachings that you get from this mode right here.
Milana, we continue to talk about specials. When you look at Turf War, what are some specials that come to mind for you as far as things that'll really help out teams, maybe in that last 30 seconds as well too, when we see the tide of a match really turn?
as for turf war, I think we might see some specials that, you know, cover more turf. So things maybe like bubbles. I might expect to see some missiles on the side of GG Boys.
Well,
by using missiles,
so
they can really
what they did
move
with
the
the last
backliner
game
on the
was
opponent's side away and
the last
kind of put them out of
Splatfest
position.
results
That's such a good point.
helped
The Tenta Missiles 9,
determine
you get
how they
obviously,
were going to use
suffering into
like
those before you have to scatter like mice.
characters
Light
from the
on it.
first
That is
game
very
in the
powerful
second
tool,
game.
especially in turf war,
That's how
to
they
really
decided
to dislodge the opponent, but also
how they were
cover
going to
some
use them.
It's remarkable how quickly Tenta missiles have come up and really become
So,
a force. For the longest time,
I don't
they were
know
the
if
special
maybe
that
they
you
would do
didn't
something
want.
like
You would
that.
choose to not play a weapon if it had that as its special.
I
But
still
recently,
think
because of
that
buffs to certain weapons, people have gotten better with it, and they've started to see the utility.
instead of
It's
like
very
a
quick way to, as
girl
Milana put it,
band
pressure
for the
back
third
line
game,
and
I think they're going to do like a
again, we talked
very
about it,
like
Yoshiko is gonna be
J-pop
the
style
obstacle.
boy
I think this is gonna
band
be a good thing.
About
for
30
the
seconds
two
away as we get
characters
set
in
for
the
our
next
opening
game.
match in the
I
Ink
think
Pools of
that's
the
probably
Splatoon
what's going to
2
happen.
World Championship 2019. We've got our defending champions, the GG Boys, trying to take on the
Even though,
up-and-coming
you know,
Lime
Nintendo,
Soda from Australia, New
you know,
Zealand.
they
Let's see
always
if they can shake things up
make
here
sure
as
they
we
got
get
the
set.
waifus
Crowd's been fantastic, by the way. They waited
for
until
people,
last
but
minute
I feel like
to get in
there's a
here.
very good chance that you're going to get like a J-pop style
The first 5 people in line I saw were all Splatoon fans.
like,
they had signs, they
boy
had everything,
band.
and their waiting is about to be rewarded as we get started. All right, let's get it cracking here. Turn 4, Manta Maria, GG Boys taking on Lime Soda from Australia. New Zealand will go ahead and let you know what color each team will be as we get rolling here. Looks like Australia, New Zealand going to be in that neon yellow. GG Boys in that purple, and 9, tell us about the loadouts we're seeing early on. Well, we said earlier that they didn't have a dedicated backliner, but it looks like the GG Boys have opted to bring 2. That there at the top, Dynamon and the custom Explosion, and Yamamichi using the custom Jet Swell for both very strong backline weapons. I think they wanted to get the jump on this.
And you take a look at the large mast in the middle of this map here, 9, and you figure that's going to be a pivotal point to control throughout Manta Maria.
It is. That's the most important part, and it's why we said the backliner is going to move up there. But the easiest way is to just not let them get there. Look how far Taiji and Etina are pushed up. Etina winning a 1v1 despite being in a bad position, and look how far they're pushed up. They have no fear at this point.
4-2 on the field for the GG Boys, and this is what you talked about, Milana. When you've got that numbers advantage, you want to push it.
Yeah, so GG Boys did not miss a beat. Once they took those members of Lime Soda out, they were all over it.
Will with the Slatra up top, hops into the baller, not going to get anybody there, but spreads a little bit of ink. Let's take a look at Etina. Etina in the middle of a 2v1. That's what we talk about, 9. If Lime Soda is going to create upset, they've got to find those situations.
They did, and it was great. They're getting a little bit too aggressive. That's sometimes the punishment that happens. But look at this, a never-ending stream of pressure as Taiji continues to push up on what we call the snipe area. Will actually got the punishment there as well, so it looks like it's an even position here. I think GG Boys needs to hold back just a touch.
Big shout out to Czar on the spectator cam, doing a fine job following all of this action here, so we'll get a good look at everything that takes place. Will trying to climb up top. Here's Yoshiko using The ball point Splatling right now, creating a little bit more pressure, and you start to see Lime Soda here, 9, really start to push into the GG Boys territory.
Oh, and what incredible movement there by Etina to come up, and that's another reason why you want to stick together. Well, the people who are watching your buddy, you can move up and get a splat there as well, but Gio getting a crucial splat in the center of the map there, needs to hold this spot. Roaching there is just a little bit too much. I would have liked to see him hold that spot.
Yamamichi, meanwhile, trying to get to the mast here. You see, look at the map, a lot of yellow on the map here. Lime Soda applying some pressure as we get to the final minute here, Milana.
And remember what we said, it really comes down to that last 30 seconds. So even though it seems like it is going in favor of Lime Soda, it really could still be anything.
Inkjet being deployed by the GG Boys. Lime Soda trying to stay alive. Taiji trying to get a couple more splats. Gets Gio right there. Has his sights on Yoshiko. Yoshiko trying to run back, but huge splat by Yamamichi, 9.
And that might be the splat that decides it here. You're going to see that the GG Boys are going to set themselves up all together here to try to hold this one position. They know that's where the push is coming from. If they hold this spot, it's their game.
Taiji and the GG Boys trying to create a bottleneck right now for Lime Soda. Yamamichi hanging back with that Stingray. 20 seconds left. This is a pivotal moment, as we said. Yoshiko and Lime Soda trying to break through the defenses of the GG Boys, trying to give themselves a chance here. 10 seconds left, trying to stay alive. This is where it matters. 4-3 on the map for GG Boys, but critical splat by Lime Soda. Yoshiko puts in work right now. Let's see what the final tally is. How about that at the end? Oh my goodness. What does Judd say in his furry little paws? It's gonna go to GG Boys though.
That was a much different score than I thought it was going to be. Not only did the GG Boys held on, they did it by around 200 points. I thought that double splat there at the end by Yoshiko was going to do it.
In Milano, we saw Yoshiko and Lime Soda really put up quite the effort at the end, but it seemed like the GG Boys really dominated the final 30 seconds, and that's what turned the tide.
I actually think it turned the tide just a little bit before, because they were really I think Lime Soda got caught up a little bit with the aggression that GG Boys had, and they kind of pushed a little bit too far, like I think 9 was saying during the match. So I think that's kind of what turned the tide even before those 30 seconds.
And that's what's so exciting about Turf War 9, because it's just a couple of splats back and forth, and as we saw, Lime Soda had quite the advantage with about a minute and a half left, but the final minute, the final 30 seconds is so pivotal to get the ink advantage and the split advantage on the field.
And I think that the way that the GG Boys attacked those last 30 seconds, they said, okay, even if we drop a couple people in the last 10 seconds, we have built such an advantage that they cannot possibly make the comeback. That ended up being the case.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the introduction as we get set for Game 2 here at the Splatoon 2 World Championship 2019.
Hey, Bug.
Well, that was our first look at Alliance Rogue representing Team Europe and then representing Team North America, FT Win and Milana. Let's start with Alliance Rogue, a very strong team from Europe. What do you like about them?
You can say that again. So I think that they are going to be quite the force to be reckoned with. They are made up of 2 of the top EU teams, both Team Olive and Kraken Paradise. And if you put 2 of the top teams together, you only know what kind of havoc they can wreak.
So they are teaming up, obviously, to try and win the championship at 9. North America, FT wins, new faces on that end, obviously, but also some familiar foes as well. And what do you like about them? Because you've been very, very impressed with them.
I have. If Alliance Rogue is the super team, the original super team was FT Win. They came together.
Slack-offs to start spawning faster, man.
When they were at their heyday, and you know what? They did it. The first tournament they
trying to
came in,
catch
they
them
won
while
the
we're
whole thing
watching
over
this.
Team Olive, over Kraken Paradise, over Set Destroy X, without dropping a single game. When they are at their best, there is nobody who can beat them.
And what makes them so good as far as, is it their composition or the different roles that they have? What are you really looking for when you see them take on the map?
When they get momentum, there's nothing that can stop them. They have such incredible individual skill. When they are working together and getting that ball rolling, the push that we talked about earlier, you can't stop it. They are just too good individually.
As we said, there will be a coin flip to see which team will decide what map they start on. We saw Lime Soda go with Manta Maria. They were unable to get the victory as the GG boys claimed the first title. These are the ink pools. We'll figure out our seeding 1 through 4, then we'll see the teams 1 versus 4.
It might have to be like all of you guys versus one of them.
Going back to the strategy,
Honestly.
Jet actually by the GG boys in that first matchup. What do you like about that special, Milana?
It's actually kind of fallen out of grace in the competitive world. It's pretty easy to snipe out of the air, but I do think that it requires a lot of skill, a lot of mechanical practice to be able to utilize it well. So I think it's a good special for the boys, just because they're so.
And 9, Alliance Rogue representing Team Europe, they win the coin toss. They decide to go with the Black Belly Skate Park. So as you strap on your knee pads and helmet, what do you like about that map?
Well, they have 2 players that are some of the best frontliners in the world. That's going to be Urza and Kibber. They are both amazing at what they do, and Black Belly Skate Park, a very up-close and personal map where the aggressor really has a lot of angles to play around. I'm thinking that's why they went there.
And what about the middle of this map? There's an area that we're very familiar with. It seems like trying to contain and control mid is very important.
It is. That very center area is where you want to put your backliner or your midliner. You can see the opponent spawn from there, so you can call out exactly where they're mounting their pushback in from. But if you're up there, you can stop it and you can be preemptive.
And going back to some of the fundamentals of Turf War here, Milana, it seems like getting those splats and being able to get somewhat of a push early on.
Pug, we technically did get an announcement in the Mario Maker thing that they were going to try and put out treehouse levels for people to play.
Although that doesn't really guarantee victory, but it's a better
All right, we're getting rolling here.
And Tetsuka came out and said it himself, so I think it's very likely that maybe someone on the dev team will be there. Maybe.
You go ahead and you see Alliance Rogue in the pink.
We know for fact that Sakurai is not at E3.
Well, I see Ice on the splatter scope, and Ice might be the most important person in this entire tournament. When he is playing his backline at the level that
I mean, that doesn't mean anything.
The finest in the world right here. He's going to be going up to the
I
top
feel like even if there was an
on the other
announcement, he
side.
doesn't
Soren on
necessarily
that
need to
backline
be
playing
there.
custom watcher.
Like he
We saw
could
Dynamo
have a
show back
pre-recorded
in
video,
Ice
or
Rogue
they could
threes,
just
Alliance
straight up
Rogue
show a
in their
trailer.
tracks early on, just 20 seconds in. Neither team having a major advantage, but there's one splat on each side. 3-2 on the map. FT win, but you see a couple of specials ready to go for Alliance Rogue here, Milana.
Yeah, so we see on both sides we actually see a Neo Splash-O-Matic, which
They made
has
sense
a
for him to be there
special.
last year,
Very
but
good for covering turf for Turf War.
And right
now,
the action continues to
the creators of Animal Crossing will be at E3 for sure.
Alliance Rogue, Kibber right
My body is ready.
There's no question about that.
Turf, and already Kibber getting to the top of that hill.
Yeah, and you saw the only person actually left up was Ice, who had to retreat all the way back. And right now, I think that both sides are trying to feel one another out. You've seen they've traded some splats here.
I mean, they probably invited Reggie just to like come if he wants to come, like to go explore and stuff. Just I would imagine. But he won't be there in any official capacity. There's no reason for him to be.
Ice is one of North America's best backliners.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if there is some kind of like collab with Microsoft and Nintendo. I would not be surprised if Doug Bowser walks out on the stage during the Microsoft conference. That would not be surprising to me. That would be a really good way to like introduce him.
Here's a look right now. Alliance Rogue with a sizable advantage, but plenty of time left here, Milana. What do you
I could totally see Phil Spencer being like, you know, and here like the woke up, you know, the president of the Nintendo of America on the stage.
1 minute left. 4-3 on the field. FT win. They're trying to go ahead and mount a push here. Alliance Rogue has been very strong. Kibber trying to avoid some trouble, but no, we've got 4-2 here, 9.
I think that Ice's Stingray actually took 2 people out, and if you wonder why they were sitting back so far, it's because they wanted to have 2 specials up going into that last minute, as we see some bumper ballers being played here. And like, I love the fact that Kyo is already.
I definitely want to see Doug Bowser. Like, I want to see him. Like, if he's not in like the direct, I'd like to see him at the treehouse or something. Kind of like how Reggie used to come to the treehouse, and like sometimes Reggie would like Reggie came out and like announced
they may be waiting until the very last second.
Samus
so
returns.
The enemy team
So it'd
can't
be
cover
cool to
their
see him
turf,
come out and
but
like announce
we'll
a
see how
game
this
or
goes.
something.
It looks like it's turning the other tide. The tide is turning.
I don't think he can come out and announce a 3DS game, but maybe a Switch game.
At the bottom of your screen, Gray trying to get behind the defenses. Let's see if Gray was able to do enough work right there, 9, and slip behind the defenses of FT Win. You see some blots of pink. That might be it. Let's see what our friendly felines say. Oh, and that is FT Win with the first victory. And once again, a team that looked like they were down early on, able to turn things around and get the victory, 9.
There is no element more important than composure. And again, them identifying that with a minute left, let's go ahead and send a couple of them back. Let's start to stagger them in spawn. And that's a term that we're going to be saying as well. When you get 2 people coming out at a time, it means they can't coordinate, and that means you have a much easier time slowing them down.
And that's such a good point. And let's build on that, Milana, because a lot of times when you are in a disadvantaged state and you're getting sent back to spawn, you can't just send squids and octolings out there as fast as you can. You've got to be coordinated.
Definitely, like we said, exponentiated pushes, or we want to push together as a team. Now, FT Win is is a team that has always kept their cool. We saw in the NA Inkling finals, NA Inkling Open Finals 2019, we saw that they really kept their cool even though Loki was taking matches off of them, and they didn't let that bother them, and I think that came through in this Turf War match.
As we get set for our next matchup in the ink pools here, Australia, New Zealand, Lime Soda, they won the coin toss, and they're going to go with Anchovy Games for our next stage here. And what do you like about this one? A bit of a throwback here, Nine.
It is a throwback, and the thing that everyone will know about this map is you have the fans that raise 2 of the platforms that allows you to not only defend your side, but go up and attack the other side too. So I think in choosing that, they're saying, all right, we can trade with the best of them here. We're going to give ourselves the opportunity to push way deep into the opponent's side.
They did go toe-to-toe with the GG boys, so you have to feel that confidence that they brought into this one here, Milana, isn't wavered even though they dropped their first game.
Like we said before, it's that momentum that they might take. So even though they lost, they had that confidence building up throughout that match, and that might be carried over into the next match.
What we're seeing here once again, 9, it's what we talked about before. You got to try and stay alive in the final 30 seconds because we're seeing those last minute 2-1s, 3 versus 2s that really are able to claim victory for the team that's in the advantage state.
Right, and those last 10 seconds sometimes feel a lot longer than 10 seconds, and a lot can change there, especially when you have the bomb rush special. We've seen teams bring that out. We didn't talk about it a lot, but you throw those out, the suction bomb rush especially, you can take an entire area of a map and just
Suction bomb rush.
Yeah, it's very powerful, especially at the end, because by the time you get those bomb rushes out, the other team probably doesn't have enough time to recover and re-ink your turf, Milana.
And definitely, and using those bomb rushes, you can hopefully get a pick, which gives you more turf from that.
Getting set for our 3rd match here in the ink pools. We're about 90 seconds away, and we mentioned Anchovy Games, Australia winning the coin toss here. And already in both these matches, it's like you mentioned here, 9, this is a very balanced championship core of teams. There isn't really anybody that's a clear-cut favorite. Everybody has a chance to win this.
Right, and I think all 4 of these teams at one point in their match have held the lead. There's just been small misplays here and there, but I think that again shows you how well you can play and how good all of these teams are. And even though there are levels to Splatoon, when you get this far, you know what it means to win. You know exactly what you need to do in a right situation. It's just a matter of controlling your nerves and executing.
And that's such a good point because we were talking to Australia, New Zealand, and they said they felt more pressure qualifying for the World Championships than being here because they knew the opportunity to be on this stage, to be in this spotlight was huge. They didn't want to miss out on it, but now that they're here, they know that they can just relax. They have nothing to lose.
Definitely. I mean, we're all here to have a good time, right? And spot some squids, cephalopods.
I like it right there. And as we said, they're getting ready to roll here in Ink Pools, Anchovy Games. And what about sub-weapons, 9? We haven't had much of a conversation regarding that. What sub-weapons do you like to see in Turf War?
Well, in Turf War specifically, I think the Fizzy Bomb is a very strong weapon. One of the new ones that came with the Tony Kensa set, you shake that up a little bit, it'll explode 3 times and it covers a lot. But outside of that, anytime that you have what we would call a lethal bomb, a suction bomb, a splat bomb, going to be great, and you can throw it up to pressure the opponents on this map in particular.
Oh, let's go ahead and put a quarter in the machine here and get ready. Anchovy Games, we've got Lime Soda taking on Alliance Rogue right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the loadouts. What do you see here?
Well, looking at it, both sides have opted to bring a bucket. Both Will and Urza are going to be playing that Slosher Deco. I didn't even get the chance to talk about the Sprinkler. That thing has been buffed recently. It will take a lot of area, and the Slosher Deco, one of the most common picks in the game.
And Nine pointed out earlier, Milana, those fans that raise the platform are going to play a pivotal part in this map.
Definitely. It gives that easy entry into the enemy side of the map. But it also, you have to keep it up. You have to keep shooting at it in order to raise that platform. So potentially that could be an area of a problem area as well.
Soren using the Exploster to apply a little bit of pressure. Urza bringing a bucket to the match as well too. Both buckets going at it, but the baller by Urza unable to get a splat. Soren going to go ahead and hop in the baller as well too. And early on, neither team getting that player advantage on the map here, Nine.
Well, they've both been very cautious, and one of the reasons that it's so important to control those fans is because, as you can see, there aren't really other ways to attack the opponent. It's just going to be a battle for the middle until one side pushes up. They've both been deliberate about getting there and nice and slow, but you see Alliance Rogue starting to get up there.
Kiver with the suction bomb rush right now, and you see Yoshiko at the top of your screen doing a fine job, Milana, of being that backliner and staying on the higher elevation to apply pressure.
The thing about the ballpoint is that even though it is a backline weapon, you have a lot of mobility. So it can act as a frontline weapon. You can really hold your own. So her positioning is a little bit less important, but she's doing a really good job.
A couple of burst bombs coming up here. Geo undeterred by that. Let's take a look at Gray with that mini splatling, raising the platform, trying to stay higher. Nice little use right there. Oh, here comes some Tenta missiles. Let's see him scatter here, Nine.
Scatter is the right way to put it. Geo doing a good job, not retreating so far back that he gives up the fan. You see moving right back up there. He knows that his job is to continue painting here and not allow that pivotal spot to be taken.
Alliance Rogue has got a special ready to go. Soren just trying to determine when he's going to use that baller at this point. 1 minute left, though. DJ playing that remix, and things are going to get hot and heated here in a second. Will trying to bring a bucket into the back line. No luck there, going one-on-one at this point. Baller ready to go. And we've got baller on baller cry once again. Oh, but Urza able to be a little bit more patient.
I don't know why there's like there's so much lag.
It is. They moved right up there. You see they didn't waste any time, and all of the members of Australia are stuck back here. They're going to have to move around.
Their capture device or something.
Isn't going to be able to find that all-important middle.
Yeah, it's like there's lag on their capture devices.
3-2 on the map and a special ready to go for Alliance Rogue. They're looking to try and push this thing and claim a victory at this point. Both teams looking for their first victory in Inkpool. Soren being retreated right now. It's going to require quite the push by Lime Soda. 12 seconds left. Geo trying to avoid a couple of shots with that Exploster, able to stay alive. 5 seconds left. 2-1 on the map for Lime Soda. They are down, but let's see what the final count is. And this might go in the favor of Alliance Rogue. I think once again, Milana, they had the advantage towards that final minute of this match.
I think that Lime Soda maybe played a little bit too aggressively in this map. I saw a few 3v1 situations that maybe wasn't what they had hoped would be the outcome. So I think using that aggression, toning it back just a little bit.
You wouldn't think there would be lag on this stuff, but there definitely is.
Kind of pulled back a little bit. They pulled back to mid so that they knew they had that turf readily covered and readily available.
It's so true, Nine. It seemed like those platforms with the fans played such a big role in this map, and then also the timing of the specials.
Well, isn't a bucket, the buckets are like,
the one that deploys and explodes last is the one that has the advantage.
Don't they kill the fastest of anything?
That means that you've painted up very well, and you typically have
So
those specials, and it seems like
if you have one, you're specifically there just to kill people.
There was a baller waiting for them, and that's not by accident. They are patient, they are ready, they know where they need to hold and when they need to use that special.
And it goes back to communication.
Because the individual scores don't really matter
you have a special. You don't get too excited
in team-based competition.
Before your birthday, you wait until the time is right, and it seems like that's what Nine's saying for Team Europe. They were really waiting, Alliance Rogue, as far as, hey, we might be in a disadvantage.
At least that's my guess. I don't know.
They definitely held their specials. They didn't use them willy-nilly. If they didn't need it, they wouldn't use it.
That's such a good point here. So Australia, New Zealand, Lime Soda, they dropped their second match in the Ink Pools. Meanwhile, Alliance Rogue representing Europe, they're 1-1. Now we'll see a matchup between our two teams that won their opening round. FT Win representing Team North America, and your defending champions, the GG Boys from Japan. And Nine, I know you're really excited for this match.
Well, I think this is the one that everyone's been waiting for. I know it's turf war, so it's not quite what everyone's looking to yet, but this is going to tell us a lot about the way these two teams stack up on an individual level, right? The coordination is still important. The game knowledge is still important. this should be a lot of fun to watch, and I believe we only have one map left that they can go to.
Skipper Pavilion will be our next map here, and give us some early thoughts about this one.
Well, this is a great midline map. There are areas here that you can just set up shop, watch where the opponent is coming from, and hold them back from there. I don't think that this is a backline mandatory map, so we might see Ice opt to switch to another weapon, but I do feel this might play to the strengths of the GG boys just a little more.
That's such a good point, Milana, because Nine says it's not a backline map. GG boys don't really play with a true backliner.
Definitely. We see Dynamon maybe choosing to use an Explosher sometimes or a custom Jet Squelcher, but in general, his name is Dynamon. You might go Dynamo.
So as we get set for Skipper Pavilion between FT Win and North America and the GG boys of Japan, 90 seconds away here. Anything that you're seeing different develop between these two high-level teams as they match up against each other in Turf War? Anything that you're seeing that stands out over these last couple of matches?
I think the most interesting part to note is that there were two L3 is what we're going to call them. L3 nozzle noses, a weapon that has just recently, within the last couple of weeks, started to creep up into relevance. It's a weapon that paints a lot, and it does it very, very quickly. And both of the specials, the Baller and the Inkjet, were used to great effect earlier. So I'm interested to see if they opt to go with that and what FT Win's response to that is, because that's not a very conventional weapon.
We've also seen a point sensor for a sub-weapon, and yes, it doesn't cover any ink, but it is something that can really help out your teammates.
It can. When you see a lot of enemy ink on the ground and you toss that out, the worst thing that happens is nothing happens. You don't get punished. The best thing that happens is you identify where the opponent is sitting. We like to call it sharking within the community there to stick with the nautical puns. But identifying where the opponent is trying to hide, it can be very important, especially if you're getting desperate.
Well, that floats with me to continue the nautical puns right there. Nine, I know you love it. I'll keep serving them up to you all day long, my friend. And there's a look at the Splatoon Sterling Squid. You see the names emblazoned on that on the side. In 2017, Team North America, Deadbeat, scoring the big upset over Team Japan. But then last year, the GG boys, the winners, they're hoping to go ahead and just hit copy-paste on that trophy for this year. But they've got to get by some very strong teams, as we mentioned. FT Win, a team that has really done a great job of establishing themselves as one of the top teams in North America here, Milana. Any other notes about them as far as what you've seen from FT Win throughout the year?
I've seen them participate in online tournaments. I've seen them participate in locals. They are really just a force to be reckoned with.
Here we go, Skipper Pavilion, Turf War, and our ink pools. Your defending champions, the GG boys, taking on FT Win from North America. GG boys in the turquoise, you've got FT Win in the purple, and early on, there's not a lot of terrain that is inkable at times here, Nine, and so you have to be careful about the path you take to try to get to the other enemy's territory.
You do, and I think that the GG boys know exactly that. Look at Etina switching over to the tent umbrella. A year ago, you would have been laughed off the stage for using that. Right now, it is a force and one of the scariest weapons to go up against. You see it right there, but I love the fact, we said this would be a long-range map. The GG boys opted to again bring what we would call a double backline composition into this fight.
Yamamichi able to pick up the splat on Kyo. That's big time right here. Etina using that tent umbrella to clear some space. Shaq right now sharking around as we see it. Here comes that suction bomb launcher as well too from the upper echelon, and you look at having the higher ground in this map, Milana. That's big too, because it seems like you have the advantage if you have the higher ground.
Definitely. By having higher ground, you have more visibility. You can see everything that's happening, and it's better for you in every situation.
Like anything.
IG moving along with that L3, as you said here, Nine doing a great job of covering some turf, but it's also so good at picking up splats, and that's what the GG boys said. They're looking for splats early on in this matchup.
Well, and you look at what they've done with Etina there. Etina has been at the top part of the map this entire game, and for good reason. It takes 2 or 3 people to take him out. They've rotated their backliners at the bottom, and Yamamichi has used the same Stingray from the same spot 3 times now.
Yamamichi getting it done for the GG boys. They've got a 4-3 advantage, but that's negated all of a sudden. Ice with a nice splat right there to even things up. You see the Stingray charge for Ice, trying to apply a little bit of pressure, help out his teammate over there. Kyo was in a 2-on-1, but very nicely done by Ice to provide that support.
And that support is exactly what they're going to need, because again, to go back to the tent umbrella, that is a weapon that you can't really beat in a one-on-one, provided that the opponent knows what they're doing.
109 left. You see 2D and the Baller taking on the tent umbrella, trying to ruin the camping trip right there, but no! 2D getting splatted from behind. IG trying to avoid the pressure right now, trying to get out of the 2-on-1 right now, using that Baller, chases them back, and you also have to be very careful about how defensive you can be here too, Nine.
You do, and we see the bubbles coming up right here, and immediately Ice jumps all the way out and says, you know what, I'm not going to get anything out of that situation. But be careful, your Shaq's actually in a great position to jump on this aggressive play, but just like clockwork, the GG boys sense that there's danger, rotate back. It's going to be a battle of specials as we get here into the last 30 seconds.
Shaq trying to get behind enemy defenses 2D using the baller. Nice job by Taiki to avoid. It's a one-on-one. Oh, huge support help on that splat. 4-3 advantage, GG boys. Final 30 seconds, Yamamichi once again with that sting right, getting a big-time splat.
And down goes Kyo. That means that all of this turf is going to be completely free to ink, and there is a lot of it. You see Etina pushed up. Shaq and Ice are pushing Dynamon back, and Yamamichi needs to rotate. Does just that right there. All they need to do is hold their position, and I think that splat's going to be the one that settles it.
Yamamichi getting it done for the GG boys. A bit of a trade right there, and the double splat at the end for good measure. Unbelievable work. You see the GG boys going to clearly take this victory, and it looks like even though the competition has stepped up 9, the GG boys have obviously elevated their game.
That was a battle that was won on the weapon select screen. You can see that the GG boys came in with an idea. We're going to put Etina up at the top. We're going to distract as many people as we can. With our double backline composition, we will ward people off, and if we need to support Etina, we have an infinite range Stingray that's going to do that job.
The ink pools are all finished up here. You take a look, 2-0 Japan. They go ahead and take the overall top seed for the most part. And then you've got a couple teams that go 1-1. But at this point, we'd like to welcome in the other member of our commentary crew. Put your hands together for Ashley Esqueda.
Hi,
Ashley,
everybody.
how are you doing?
I'm great.
Oh, they
I made a
switched.
kid and a squid while I was gone last year, so I'm ready. I got one more left, and I can have a whole Splatoon team.
Well, as we get set for ranked mode here soon, for you, what's the biggest difference? You've obviously covered a couple of these championships before. When we make the transition from ink pools to ranked mode.
I mean, ranked mode is a whole different ballgame, right? So in Turf War, there is one objective. Obviously, there's a single objective in all of these ranked modes, but there's so much more strategy that goes into each one of these modes that you're going to see all kinds of crazy loadouts. I think
She looks way
we've
different.
talked a lot about how things have changed quite
From
a bit,
before?
even from
She said she had a
PAX,
kid.
when we were at PAX. Like, things have changed, and so it'll be really interesting to see what these teams roll out with.
And obviously, Turf War is the foundation of a lot of different things covering that turf, as we said before. But then you get to the ranked mode, and you throw in another objective, and that's going to change these loadouts, as we
It's
said.
like,
It
oh,
is, and
it's
I
like
think
the
the most
actual
important thing to note
stream
is,
is lagging, not
none
their
of the ranked modes are decided when time hits 0 in the same way that Turf War is.
Not
we say
their,
that only the last 30 seconds matter because it doesn't matter how well you've played the entire game.
their gameplay.
In ranked modes, you get to keep the lead that you built, and it's up
Which
to the
is
opponent to
weird.
beat it.
Let's
But
take
their
a look at
actual
some of these
stream
ranked
is
modes
lagging.
here as we prepare for semi-final action at the Splatoon 2 World Championship 2019. Up next is Tower Control, and it's one that many people
It's
love
not on
here.
my end,
Let's start with the
I'll tell you
basics of
that.
Tower Control. Ashley, what are we looking to see here?
Well, there's a tower in the middle of the map, and if you or any of your teammates get on it, it's going to move toward the enemy base. If you can get through the checkpoints, which is a very key part of the strategy here, you can, in fact, knock out the other team. But they're not going to make it easy.
Let's take a look at the updated bracket after we just got done with our ink pools and see who will be facing off against each other in semi-final action. And you see the GG boys in first place, FT Win in second, Alliance Rogue in third, and then Lime Soda in fourth. So GG boys will take on Lime Soda in the first semi-final, and then FT Win facing off against Alliance Rogue in our best of 5 here. And so your eyeballs immediately go to FT Win and Alliance Rogue. They had a very balanced Turf War match, and you figure ranked mode will be just the same here, 9.
Well, just think back to just 1 year ago, the last time that we saw the North American team and the European team, we saw fireworks there, one of the best sets of Splatoon I've ever seen. I expect much the same here as we keep going to this tournament.
In Tower Control, Ashley did a great job of talking about the checkpoints, and on certain maps, some checkpoints are more important than others, 9. What does that mean?
Well, when we say that a checkpoint isn't that important, what we generally mean is it's very easy to reach it and very easy to get through it. It's not a big point of congestion or contesting. So if there's a spot where we say this is the key checkpoint to get through, generally that is the point of no return. And you know, some maps only have 2 checkpoints.
That's right, and that is when things get really intense because you've got to scrap for that time in those checkpoints. It's war.
Well, it's really
ink war.
important, too, when you get to a checkpoint to clear it. The last thing you want to do is sit there and park with the engine idle for 8 seconds and then not clear the checkpoint, tower resets, and you've got to go through that same point again.
You do. You have,
Let's just
you have
try
to get
this.
through every part of it. So
See
even
if it
if you get
changes
to
anything.
one single point left on a checkpoint, if you don't clear it and it goes back, you got to get all 10 of them again.
As we get set for Tower Control here, we had a conversation once again with the GG boys, the defending champions, and Ashley, they said what's very important is when we're on the tower, we understand the opposing team is focusing in on our player on the tower. we need to use the tower as a distraction to go for splats, protect our buddy.
They are so good at that strategy because, one, they have some of the absolute best slayers out there. And so you're going to look for all kinds of flanks from GG Boys. They're going to be looking for ways to take out the back line and the mid line of their opponents so that there is no way you're going to see a Stingray on the tower. And that's going to be the easiest way to get an opponent off of there.
All right, we are ready to go here. Tower control, semifinal action. Hey, how about a good old scoop of vanilla ice cream, the reef for our stage here. 9, I know you love this one.
I do, and this map is one of the most exciting places to play tower control on. You can see right there, 3 checkpoints, but they go by quick. That first checkpoint, nearly a stepping stone. It's really that second checkpoint we're going to be looking at first.
Lime Soda in the green, and you've got the GG Boys of Japan in the purple. Tower control early on, and a splat that makes it 3-3 on the field. 3-1, the GG Boys with a complete wipe right here, 9.
He built that Stingray in 10 seconds.
Outrageous. It's outrageous.
A master builder right there, Dynamon on the tower. You hear the cheering music playing, and now it's all about protecting the tower when it's at the checkpoint. Taiji trying to apply a little bit of pressure to your spawn, and actually you see that sometimes when you push, you try to keep the other team busy at spawn while that tower moves.
It's one of the easiest ways to clear a checkpoint is to, if you've wiped, especially an entire team, the best thing you can do is push forward as far as you can and keep them away from the tower so that you can ride it right into the finish.
GG Boys in the express lane in this one, 9 having no issues whatsoever. Push the tower and also push back Lime Soda.
The way that they've rotated their aggression is insane. There's so much I'd like to say about this, but I don't think I'm going to get the chance to.
Nope.
Dynamon Yamamichi,
wow.
The backbone of that GG Boys assault. And you see how quickly it can end against tower control. However, we are going to review a couple things. We might have had a controller issue in that one. We'll let you know what possibly
what
happened.
the heck?
Sometimes those things happen, but for the most part,
Controller
you saw the GG Boys
issue.
strategy, how quickly they were able to build that Stingray
How
early
did
on
that
to apply
happen?
that pressure.
That was very, very smart because they knew, okay, we will give up a little bit of presence in the mid to maybe trade for what could be a double splat. It did end up being that. That allowed Dynamon to get through that first checkpoint without any resistance whatsoever. But the key moment, I think, was the fact that as Taiji was in that Inkjet moving up, Etna moved up to take that spot as well. We're going to talk about rotational pressure. That's exactly what that was.
And Ashley, we saw the push from the GG Boys. They weren't just camped out by the tower. They extended their offense out and really kept Lime Soda back towards their spawn, and that buys some precious seconds for the tower to move.
It absolutely does, and I think the GG Boys, of all the teams here, have obviously been together the longest. They're the defending champions. They have not swapped out a single player from last year. And that means that they have, I would argue, the most trust, right? So they trust that whoever's on that tower, they got it, right? And they can go forward, they can push, they can make those kind of gambles that really pay off and enable them to win so quickly.
And you saw the GG Boys get the victory there in tower control. And you know, you want to take a closer look at Team Japan and hear from them as far as what they enjoy about being here with a chance to defend their title.
I am Yamamichi, Etona, Dynamo, Taiji. We are GG Boys.
Splatoon 2 Splatoon 2 is a game that all sorts of people are playing. Like my wife is playing it, and so are her friends. I think people from old to young. Last year I came to E3 as well, but I never thought I could go overseas because of a video game.
Which team do you think will win the championship?
Needless to say, the GG Boys are going to win it.
I love the story about his wife got him introduced to Splatoon and all of a sudden loved doing this. So wives, once again, they make their husbands that much better, honestly. And you take a look at the GG Boys and what they're trying to do as they defend. And this is a Team 9 that never really waver. They never really get too worked up. They know that they can just trust their ability level to be victorious.
Well, they've been here so many times. They've been on this stage more than anybody else, but also they've played at the highest level in Japan specifically. Japan, widely regarded as the strongest Splatoon region. They get this level of competition every single year.
So we do want to let you know
there's really not, there's a much bigger, like,
that last match of tower
competitive scene for Splatoon in Japan.
That one. So you love the sportsmanship between these two teams right here. So it's now 0-0. It'll be the GG Boys. Yeah, clap it up right
But
there.
here's the thing
about
like competitive gaming in
I
Japan.
could do that when a DC whenever I play. I accidentally DC, I want to do over.
It is looked at really differently than like how esports is in a lot of other places. Like, for example,
Well, the left side where we saw Taiji use that inkjet, I think, is the reason I like it the most.
I'm pretty sure that in Smash Brothers you can actually win money in tournaments in Japan. So even though it's more popular in Japan, I don't think that they actually win money at their tournaments.
What was cool is we heard the round of
At
applause
all.
when we said we're going to go ahead and restart this game, and that really speaks to the community.
That's why it makes it harder for those guys to be able to do that stuff. Plus, like, when you're younger in Japan, like, you gotta think, like, you're really pushed
It is
to
100% true.
get all your schooling done and just go to work.
In my time,
And then once you start working,
but this community is so joyous.
you
They are
work
so much fun. They are
all
so
the time.
welcoming. Even the top level players are like, just come talk to us. We'll give you tips. We'll help you. We want you to beat us. Like that's how wonderful and strong the foundation of the Splatoon 2 community is.
We'll get started here in a couple minutes as we continue to figure out all the technical issues. We want to make sure everybody's good and locked in and ready to go for these semifinals. So much at stake here. And Nine, listen, you're the darling of the Splatoon community on the cover of the Splatoon Tiger Beat magazine and all the cereal boxes.
That's a reference.
Speak a little bit more about how it's grown so much over the last couple of years and how Splatoon 2 has made this game so accessible for so many people.
Well, I think it ties into this exact tournament, actually. I think when we had that very first E3 championships back in 2017, people saw what teams could become. They saw that you could get sponsored. They saw that you could be even better at this game. That pushed everybody up, and that made more people interested in the game. It's no secret that I do love this community. It's done a lot for me. It's helped me reach heights that I
think
never
what
thought
would
I
help
could.
Splatoon
But it all
is
starts
Nintendo
with love of the game. This game is so addicting. If you pick it up, you will
working
not be able to put it
to
down.
build
It's
like
so
a better
easy to
online
love.
infrastructure
That's the thing I
structure
like
with that
about it.
game.
It's like you're in there, you meet Pearl and Marina.
Even more
and
so
you're just
than like Smash Brothers.
I love these.
Because Smash Brothers is obviously like
Well, we had a chance to hear from the GG boys.
the big stuff is obviously played in person, but I think if like they were able to do online tournaments for Splatoon, it would make it way easier.
Yoshiko?
Shockwave, Trent, Geo, and we are
Lime Soda.
I mean, you have to think about this. Splatoon is an online focused game. Smash Brothers is not like online focused. It's like generally played in person, but Splatoon is like an online focused one, really. So
I love the emotion from
Like, the
Lime
main
Soda when you
modes
see
are
that
online.
the fact that they qualified, and we've been talking to them all week and how excited
So
they are
it
to
would
be
really
here, but
help
they're not wide-eyed
them
behind
if
the
the-
stage
if they
isn't
had,
too
like,
big for them. They
dedicated
feel like they can
servers
come here and make some noise.
for
They're playing
Splatoon.
with house money. They know that if they just go out and execute it, they have the right weapons, right? Everything that they play is what we would consider to be meta. They're here to have fun and compete. It's the same game. The stage is just a little different.
And also, they're the upset kings of this tournament. I mean, they came back from an 0-4 deficit to win 5-4 in their qualifier. So anything could happen. I'm excited to watch them play. I absolutely love that they are a really great representation of the meta and also just really good, cool people to hang out with like last couple days.
You see Lime Soda right there bubbling up some conversation with themselves as they get set for tower control. Maybe a different strategy. Let's go ahead and run this thing back, y'all. Tower control on the reef. You've got the GG boys of Japan in the purple, and then in that green, you've got Lime Soda and Nine a little bit more. It looks like we're seeing the same compositions come out again.
Yeah, and I think that that's part of the rule set as well to make sure that nobody can tactically DC, as we would call it. We're going to see the same strategy. Another 12 seconds, but this time Will gets a nice pick here. So instead of going down immediately, they know, okay, we can't do that again, and they're actually on the upswing this time.
4-3 advantage momentarily on the map for Lime Soda. That tower hasn't moved at all, so Lime Soda showing that they can be quite the formidable foe. Early on, here comes Taiji with an inkjet trying to apply some pressure. Nobody yet climbing on that tower, and Ashley, we've also heard these teams say, we're not going to grab that tower until we have an advantage on the field.
That's right. Sometimes you want to wait to get on the tower. I know whenever I play, I get really excited. I want to jump right on there, but the real strategy here is knowing when to get off the tower and when to get back on the tower. So they're all going to wait until there is an advantage and the right person can get on that tower.
Nice little trade right there as Yamamichi rides the tower to the first checkpoint. You see 3-2 on the map and a couple of specials ready to go for the GG boys.
And you saw immediately they moved up and forced a double team on Will that caused that follow to be popped probably a little earlier than Will wanted to. And now we're going to get to see again this snowball start to go up. Yoshiko is positioned very well, but needs to hit a snipe.
Oh, and just like the man predestined, speak it into life here, Nine. Big time.
Nine Stradamus
by
over here.
Limestone.
Wow.
It's 4-4. That tower really just passed the first checkpoint. That's not safe by any means on this map here, Nine. You also look 3:30 left.
Microsoft is at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Bethesda's at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, and Digital Evolver is at 10 p.m. Eastern time.
So that they don't get these specials, because Yamamichi with that Stingray is very dangerous.
Here comes Etana jumping into action here, Nine, and what are we seeing from the GG boys?
We saw an incredible use of all three specials there. Dynamon kept himself on the tower with his baller. Then they used their Stingray. Once the counter Stingray came out, they had an Inkjet ready to pressure that. That's why this push is still going as they approach that final check.
Shock being very careful to stay in some green ink to drop the hammer on Yamamichi and the GG boys. However, GG boys have cleared a second checkpoint. They have a sizable 32-100 lead. Will trying to avoid some pressure, gets on the tower. And let's see if Lime Soda can get on the board here. 2:30 left, plenty of time, but they face yet another deficit, actually down 4-3 on the map.
It'll be really interesting to see what Will does next. He takes out Etona and ends up going 1-for-1. It's a trade. This is going to be really close. I think in the way of, I don't know what's going to happen here.
GG boys getting closer and closer to the final checkpoint. Yamamichi, Stingray, you're going to hear it all afternoon long. A little Stingray on Stingray action. Nobody getting stunned right there. Dynamon using that baller, however, getting pushed off the tower. That's the issue with the baller on the tower sometimes, Nine.
It is, but you saw that Taiji was up there holding that position. And to talk about those counter Stingrays that just happened, if you are on defense and you use that, that oftentimes swings the game for you. Yoshiko needs to hit another snipe here. I couldn't speak it into existence this time.
Final checkpoint cleared. It looks like the GG boys are going to have no problem getting this victory, and they do. Took a little bit more effort than last time, though. When you see that Australia, New Zealand, they were able to be somewhat equal in the beginning, but it was just that constant onslaught by the GG boys. Too overwhelming.
You know, that combo of the baller and then you got Taiji with the Inkjet is just so hard to overcome on tower control. It's a really good strategy. Clearly it works, and they rode it all the way in.
And Nine, we're going to say, as we said earlier, Yamamichi and the Stingray. We're going to see that a lot. Why is that Stingray such a powerful and valuable special for the GG boys?
Let's check the stats. It has infinite range. It goes through walls, and you can see where the opponent is. So all three of those things are very important, but more than anything, two of the modes that we'll be playing today, Tower Control and Rainmaker, have a centralized objective.
I think the Microsoft conference will be good. I mean, the third-party announcements will be really good, but here's the hoping that they actually show those games from those new studios that they bought. We'll definitely see Ori again. We'll definitely see gameplay of Battletoads. I think that if they show off their new hardware, they need to use Halo to show it off.
Yeah, sometimes when any team plays against the
We're
GG
gonna
boys,
see
it's really
a
tough
Namco
to
Bandai
get a
game.
hold
We're
of
gonna
how
see,
aggressive they can be.
or we'll see
especially when they
two
really
Namco
get out
Bandai
in front
games
and they start keeping you
that
away
were
from a central
leaked
objective.
or whatever.
And I think that's going to be the hardest thing for them to do, but it is the thing
Well,
they
published
must
by
do
them.
if they want a chance of coming back.
Developed
Let's go ahead
by
and take a look at our next ranked mode that
other
these two teams will partake in here. As we said, we just got done with Tower Control. The GG boys getting the first victory in this best of 5. Up next, good old Clam Blitz here, Nine, and a lot of fun strategies with this one.
And if there's a Nintendo thing crossover, then maybe we'll even see someone from Nintendo show up at the Microsoft show.
First of all, wipe that smirk off your face. Secondly,
Be a good
there's a
PR
lot that
kind
goes
of
into
thing.
Clam Blitz. It is the newest mode, and it's probably the most difficult to really get a grasp on. This is probably the mode where just controlling the map is the most important part of it. And we've seen a lot of developments in this mode.
It's like
since the
we know
last
we'll
time
see
that we
like
were on
a
this
ton of
stage.
third-party
I'll say
stuff
if
because
there's two
Sony's
things
not
you
there
have
at
to
all.
do, everybody needs to pitch in to collecting clams. You collect 10 of them,
but
it puts together what we call a football or
it's
a
the
power
first-party
clam.
stuff
You
that
throw it into the
really
basket.
matters.
We'll see if these teams can show you how it's played.
Clam Blitz and Arowana Mall here. You've got the GG boys of Japan in the orange, and then Lime Soda in the green. And speaking with the GG boys, Nine, they said it's less about splats and Clam Blitz, but rather dominating the economy, having the majority of the clams on the map so your team can't form those power clams. And let's see if they follow that strategy early on, and what do you like about Arowana Mall?
Well, it's a very Stingray dominant map. Some people like it for that reason, some people don't, but that's why, again, the GG boys continue to bring two backliners here. They know that they can control the way the map is going, and that grate right there where you see the Tenterella set up shop is going to be the point of contention. I love the fact that Yoshiko is here, and this Taiji baller actually is going to get them through. They need to grab that claim again, though.
Taiji dancing around the ink, two big-time splash, looking to form the completion.
He got
Gets
three!
the power clam into the basket, and now it's time for the GG boys to start filling the basket, but as you said, just a great individual effort by Taiji 9.
It was, and more than anything, this score might not be a big score, but it's going to mean that they control the middle. There's a mechanic in Splatoon called super jumping that allows you to go to where your anybody on your team is standing. So it's going to mean that they can continue their pressure. I think that Australia has snuffed it out, though. Great defense by them.
Australia able to survive right there, only 26 points scored by the GG boys. You see that 13-point penalty, and actually you can also see the number of clams each team has by that small number underneath their 4 icons. And right now, neither team with a lot of clams. How do you see Lime Soda trying to get back into this one?
Well, they're starting to climb up little by little, but what's going to need to happen is they're going to have to put down some ink here because this map is covered in a lot of orange, and they're also going to have to stay away from Yamamichi's Stingray.
Yamamichi once again with that Stingray applying pressure from the back line. Taiji using that baller. You lose the clams when you deploy that baller as well too. Middle of the map controlled right now by the GG boys. They've got another power clam. How about that? Hiding in the bubbles, 9.
There were bubbles everywhere there. That was a very tense moment, and Etna able to sniff through there. They know Etna's still there. They do. For a second there, I was a little worried that they were looking the wrong way. So again, you're seeing small scores, and that's going to mean that the penalty is still there. Now, that power claim that we talked about scored you 20 points. This is actually still a very close game.
Lime Soda not out of it at all. As you said, one power clam followed by some smaller ones into the basket. They are right back in this thing. They've got a 4-3 advantage on the field, but let's see if they can finally get a push this match. It seems like they can't get past that second half of the map here, Ashley.
I would say the reason why is those Tenterellas right there that you can see flying by. They're all over the place. I love that there's dueling Tenterellas. This is it makes it really tough who can't get by there, and so you get knocked off the crate. You have to start over. You have to find a different way. You got to flank.
Taiji and the individual effort we're seeing here, 9, getting some critical splats deep into Lime Soda territory.
Pushing them all the way back and continuing to just create space. So often we focus so much on the splats, but there's something about positioning yourself in the right spot and allowing yourself to continue putting pressure that play does.
Just under 2 minutes left, 4-4 on the map. GG boys with a 33-point advantage. However, you see the penalty. Lime Soda not out of it by a long shot. Etna going to go ahead and super jump back for defensive purposes. Dynamon trying to apply some pressure with that Explosher. 1:43 left, and right now the match has gotten to a bit of a stalemate here, 9.
It has, and the way that GG Boys is playing right now means that Lime Soda actually can't build up any clans. You see they're shuffling a few around back here. They know that there's not much time, so they're trying to make the score that they do get here a big one. But because GG Boys continues to hold the map, there's not even a chance for them to build it.
Oh, the barrier is broken, though. The GG Boys have a chance to add to their lead. They're adding clams by the bushel at this point. 36 to 100. You see the timer in the middle. That gives them that much more time to fill the basket up. Can they get one more clam in there? Doesn't look like they... Oh, they do!
Oh, they do!
And here comes more pressure. Riding the shield of those bubbles, trying to pop the hopes of Lime Soda. 1 minute left. 91-point advantage for the GG Boys. Now is when it gets difficult for Lime Soda to have a comeback here, 9. And that is the game.
Hey, Pineapple
GG Boys filling the basket. They take a 2-0 lead, and once again, it was the specials and the push by the GG Boys. But how about that strategy we saw there, Ashley? Hiding in the bubbles for some protection to get closer to the basket.
It's a great strategy. It's a great way because it's going to take a lot of ink to get those bubbles to shrink down enough to be able to get your opponent. So, yeah, that's a great strategy. Hide in there as long as you can. Stay in the bubbles and then get right under that basket. And as soon as the bubbles either go away or pop, you're good to go.
First 2 victories go to the GG Boys. One more, and they will have the sweep in the semifinals and find themselves in the finals. Let's take a look at the next upcoming ranked mode, and we've got Splat Zones, and this is the one that a lot of competitive players love. Splat Zones, tell me a little bit more about the strategy here, because it's a little bit of turf war. However, there are some things that change here.
There are. I think the easiest way to describe it is something of a king of the hill, right? There is going to be a zone, sometimes
Wait, they have
two smaller
gear
zones
in the
that you
game
have to
that's
take.
like
That is
based
going
on
to
them?
bring down your timer.
Is that
You want your
because they
timer
won
to
in the
either be
past?
lower than the opponents when the time runs out, or run all the way to 0, and competitive players love it because of how consistent it tends to be.
And you mentioned consistency, Ashley. We've had the conversation before. A lot of these modes you can mount a comeback. Splat zone's very difficult to come back. What are some things you need to keep in mind once you secure the zone if you want to make sure you protect your victory?
Securing the zone is one thing. Making sure you're not getting penalized when it gets taken back is another thing. So really, really doing a good job of pushing forward, making sure, again, you're keeping your opponent from either that central objective in the splat zone or both splat zones. You really have to have good defense when there's two.
Let's go shopping at Mako Mart here. Don't forget to grab.
I remember that last one. It came down to like the last
only one splat zone in this
like
map
second.
Here, 9, so a lot of the action is going to be very concentrated.
It is, and taking a look right now immediately, you see a double L3 nozzle nose. That's going to mean 2 ballers and a third one being added in by Dynamon there. If all 3 of those go in the zone, they're going to take it in the blink of an eye.
You see Lime Soda in the orange and the GG Boys of Japan in the purple. GG Boys already securing the zone. And one thing they talked about, 9, is that they're not going to push too far once they get the zone. They want to make sure that they aren't too aggressive and give themselves the opportunity to be snuffed from behind, flanked from behind to lose the zone.
And they're especially going to try to build their baller. You see that they already have a Stingray at the ready that's going to immediately target Yoshiko, who is willing to trade a 1-for-1 there. I like that because it allowed them to take the zone and apply a penalty.
Huge recovery right there by Lime Soda. You see the 36-second penalty for the GG Boys. So that'll buy some precious seconds for Lime Soda. 4-3 on the map, and actually a chance for Lime Soda to finally make a push with the advantage.
That was a huge take back because once you can apply that penalty, it becomes, there's a little less pressure. And I think that that's really helpful for them in this moment.
You see the splat. We've got a spill on Isle Splat Zone right there. 9 and Etsuna and Taiji. You mentioned the double L3 composition. They're going to go and try and put a lot of pressure on Lime Soda at this point.
And you can see they have 2 ballers at the ready, so they're not going to have any trouble at all doing that. Etsuna going to run in, pop the baller. There's another one that they can use. Trapped in the corner. Etsuna goes for 3. Why not? The 4th one sitting up at spawn, and this is getting ugly.
Etsuna putting on an absolute clinic. Finally able to get slowed down, but it might be too little too late. GG Boys just a few seconds away from claiming this 3rd victory, and that'll do it. GG Boys with a clean sweep in the semifinals, and last year's defending champions having no issue whatsoever through those 3 ranked modes. And what we saw early, Ashley, they controlled the zone and they were able to apply some pressure in spawn.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only were they able to do that, they were able to do that with
this is gonna
completely
be
cool heads.
over quick at this rate.
This is just something that they do in their sleep, which pretty much it is.
Well, let's go ahead and give a round of applause to Lime Soda. They put up some great battles. We certainly appreciate them coming all the way here from Australia, New Zealand to give us a show. I'm sure we will see many of them later. What a great opportunity, great experience for them. But 9, it's very tough when you're going against the defending champions.
It is. They're the champions for the reason, as they give a little fist pump right there. They know that their goal is still a little ways away.
Let's take a look at the updated bracket here as we have our first ticket to the finals punched here by the GG Boys. They get the 3-0 sweep in semifinals, so they will take on the winner of FT Win and Alliance Rogue. And as you said earlier, this matchup between North America and Europe that we're about to see in the semifinal, this is one that you really want to keep an eye on because these are 2 teams that are really dominant in their regions and have really taken the crown in their respective countries, and now they have a chance for an opportunity to knock off the champions here soon.
And more than that, they are very familiar with each other. Earlier, Milano was talking about Kraken.
I don't know. I feel like
all of the teams that kind of formed this.
Right now,
those 2 teams, along with FT Win, have been battling.
I feel like
at the top
Japan
of
could
European
sweep
North American leagues for
both
ages
events.
Right now. They know the tricks that each other are going to do.
Japan is
Obviously,
very, very
well
good in
aware
Smash
with each
Brothers.
player,
Like,
each team for the most part,
often
the stage is different.
when like one
You know,
of
it's
the
different when
top
you're playing
players
online
from like
versus
over here
live
goes
on the
over
stage
there
in
to
front
one of
this
their
crowd, in front of this
tournaments,
audience, with this Splatoon
they
Sterling Squid up for grabs.
It's different.
sometimes
just
don't
casting
even make
on
it
the
into like the
internet
top
by
5.
yourself. So being in front of this amazing crowd, they're hyped, they're ready to go. Like they are super excited to see these teams face off. Obviously, FT Win, it's the hometown team. We got North America here, but at the end of the day, anything can happen. Like 9 said, these teams have faced off against each other many, many times. Just playing Splatoon. So it'll be interesting to see how all of them react.
And 9, we were talking earlier in the week, and you said FT Win. When they are at their best, it is hard to find anybody better than them. It's just a matter of will they be consistent enough in this tournament to be able to match the consistency.
But here's the thing that is a bit strange about
their scrims,
about it, right?
scrimmages,
Like
scrims
when
for
you
short.
think
They've
about
been
these
hiding the
tournaments and
results
like
of those because they don't want
you think about
anyone
like a
knowing what tricks
esports
they are. I was
tournament
trying
like
to
over
talk a
here,
little bit with
right?
them. These are my friends. They're like,
There's
"Sorry,
money
we can't
on the
tell you
line.
anything."
Yeah,
That's
no
not the
friends, no
case in
friends, no
Japan.
No
This week
friends.
here.
No
Well,
friends.
we mentioned FT Win
so
representing North America. Let's take a closer
you know,
look at
like
the
you're
four that
basically
comprise
doing
this
it
squad.
for the win. Like you're doing it for the pride of it. You're not really doing it for money in Japan.
My single piece of advice would be to
Which means that you can't really make it like a career or anything. And of course, like if you got like sponsored by like a esports team or something, then you could. But like you couldn't really. You're not gonna get any earnings from winning any tournaments or anything like that.
So FT Win right there, getting a chance to know them a little bit better. And 9, they were talking about
Yeah,
some strategy
pretty
for
much.
some folks that are maybe just new to Splatoon 2, and he said sometimes it's not all
Just
about
for the clout.
stats.
Right, there's so many things that go into playing a good game, and sometimes just being a Brella on the tower and not
And the other
leaving
thing
the
is like
tower
tournaments
can
are
be the
way
difference
different
between
over
getting a
there.
win
Like
or a loss.
they,
Sometimes it's holding
when
the
they're
position.
going
There's
on,
just
people
too
don't get
much
like
to hold it
loud
down
or
to a
scream
single
or
number.
anything.
We saw a lot of Stingray with the specials.
They like
Baller's
clap
been very popular
politely,
as well too, and it seems like
and
regardless of the rank mode that
they
we're
don't
playing,
like the
that
crowd
Baller
doesn't
provides
like
a lot of
scream and
benefits
stuff whenever.
It's a great way
People
to
don't
give
like when they
cover,
win a
not
game,
only
they
to
don't pop
yourself
off.
if you're in a bit of a pinch,
They just like
but
shake
it's
hands
also
and
a
that's
really
it.
great way to give cover to a teammate. If you end up getting, you know, double teamed, you got 2 squids coming at you. Baller's a great way to get them to go away. So it's a really nice way to sort of, it's a little bit of a defense mechanism, but also a really great offensive mechanism as well. So it's a fantastic special, and it's no wonder it's being used a lot here.
We're about a minute away from action here in 9. Those specials that seem to provide that temporary invulnerability like we see with the Baller, or that you can stand far away from the action, apply pressure. It seems like there's a defensive component to some of these.
There's a defensive component, and there's also spatial control, which is something that, of course, we know the Stingray being that it can
Spatial
reach everywhere
control.
on the map does. But when you have a Baller, it forces the opponents to move away. And even if you don't explode and get a splat, it means that your teammates can move up as well. And spatial control really is the next level of being a good Splatoon player.
Yeah, it's that combination of turf coverage because
Neutral.
that Baller explodes, but then also scattering everybody because you know, Ashley, these high-level teams,
Like fighting
a lot of
games.
their success is based upon being able to establish certain parts of a map, and when you have to scurry away because of a Baller, it can really disrupt your strategy.
Yeah, disrupt is exactly the right word. I mean, disrupting a team's rhythm, what they are most comfortable with, is going to be a great way to knock them off their feet and potentially take the win.
As we get set, we've got tower control on the reef once again here. FT Win from North America taking on Alliance Rogue from Europe. You've got FT Win in the blue, Alliance Rogue in the green, and 9, you know
No
you love
shiny
the loadouts
Slock
looking
off
like.
so
Well, I
far.
want everybody to keep an eye on 2 players in
No
particular.
good ones either.
2D from North America and Gray from Alliance Rogue. They are going to be providing ink
They're just
armor,
not
one of them
spawning
with a
fast
more
enough for
aggressive
me
weapon
over
in the NZAP, the other a more supportive role with that Tensa undercover Brella. That's a mouthful.
And that ink armor, once again, defensive capabilities coming from a special, allowing you to be more aggressive here. A little one-on-one action here. Shaq getting the best of that, trying to avoid some green ink coming in. Right now, you've got Alliance Rogue that's with the tower, just 10 little points, so plenty of action to go here. Urza trying to charge up those Tenta missiles, but gets splatted by Kyo, and actually early advantage on the map. You've got FT Win getting a couple of big splats here.
Yeah, this is an early advantage, so it may not pay off for them in the end, but it is a really good thing for them to have been able to kind of, you know, they scared EU just a little bit. Rogue Alliance was like, you know what, I think I'm going to jump back to base. A couple of our players have gone down, and now we got a Stingray out.
Well, once again, that spatial control, 9 Ice able to dislodge and disrupt the Stingray for Alliance Rogue.
It is, and sometimes, like you said, that's just enough, because when you're using that Stingray, you're doing it to take a couple people down and build a lead for your team. Give yourself a little breathing room. A counter Stingray, not going to allow that to happen.
FT Win is now taking the lead. They're at the first checkpoint. However, they get dislodged. They're back on the tower. Oh, almost about to clear that checkpoint, but Kibber with a nice double splat 9.
And that's going to disrupt it entirely. That's going to be the end of it there, taken down before it could even get started.
And that's huge. We've talked about with the checkpoints. You want to make sure you clear them. If not, you're just leaving yourself more homework after school when you get back to that checkpoint.
More
And we know
homework
how
after
fellas these teams
school.
are, Ashley. We're a minute
Huh?
and a half in. Neither
What is he
team has
talking
cleared the first
about?
checkpoint.
Not at all. And that is a real testament to how good these teams are, how much they've played against each other. They know their strategies. They know what's going on. That might be a really critical Stingray splat right there.
4-2 on the field for a moment for FT Win. They did a nice job stopping the advances of Alliance Rogue. Now let's see if they can boost their score. How about Ice slipping and sliding out of the way of those splats. Does a nice job, Soren, trying to get the tower. But here comes some Tenta missiles once again to disrupt that back line.
And you know that's the thing that we haven't talked about yet. One of the reasons why the Tenta missiles have become so strong, everyone for the longest time was focused on Stingray v Stingray. The Tenta missiles do it with much less commitment. The Stingrays from Soren have been completely inconsequential so far.
It's such a good point. Soren can't get comfortable at that point. And FT Win getting to the second checkpoint. They're trying to clear it. This is one of the ones in the stage here that you're looking, as you mentioned, Ashley. That's the critical one in this map if you want to give yourself somewhat of a safe lead.
Absolutely, and now we can see there's a couple of Rogue Alliance jumping back to base. They want to get out of the way of that Stingray.
FT Win trying to close the door on this match. Kimber trying to get him off the tower. It's a battle. It bleeds everywhere. The ink is going everywhere.
Whoa.
Wow. How about FT Win surviving that storm at the end right there, 9?
Look at that. Kyo had jumped onto the tower with a splashdown. He said, there are invulnerability frames as I come down. We are knocking this out no matter what happens. But their ability to press forward and use their specials, we say it so much, but you almost can't say it enough. Coordinating your specials in time with the push makes it very difficult for your opponent to slow it down.
It really does. It's a thing there. If you can do that with your team, if you can communicate and say, okay, you use your Tenta missiles, keep that Stingray away. Now let's use Baller. Now let's use Splashdown. I mean, if you can do that all coordinated and all together, it's, especially at the end for that very last race to the finish, it's beautiful.
And that's what we love about competitive Splatoon. You have those moments like we saw at the end, just pure chaos, but these players are so good at remaining calm through all that ink flying left and right for the most part. Let's take a closer look at a replay from that last match. One of those exciting moments, our instant replay. 2:24
instant
left.
replay.
Keep an eye on the tower. It's moving right now. Ice moves it, but look at all the action that's going to happen. Walk us through it here, 9.
So you see, of course, they have one person as their designated tower rider, but you see that Shaq was by it as well, meaning that they were going to have at least some pressure there. He pops back off, but they were able to get 2 people, and as the GG boys said, they want to play around the tower, and that's exactly what they did, positioning to take out anybody who was trying to stop it.
And the splashdown at the end, you have to love it. So FT Win winning a tightly contested match. They were finally able to break the levy in that one and get some momentum, but you saw how close these teams were because that tower wasn't moving much early on, Ashley.
Not at all. It was very, very close for a really long time, but I think a couple of splats, they were very key to enable FT Win to finally start making some progress and get through those first couple of checkpoints.
Well, let's take a look at our upcoming ranked modes that we will be seeing. We just saw Tower Control. We'll have Clam Blitz coming up here next, and looking at Clam Blitz once again, that strategy. We saw the bubble protection from the GG boys, but we've also seen the coordinated super jump with the baller that has become popular.
Right, that is something that I think becomes sort of a desperation play. And I said earlier that Clam Blitz has developed. If you just sit everybody back, try to run one baller in, teams are too good. That's not going to work anymore. It's 2019. And so I think that the way the GG boys played the map is exactly what you're going to see both of these teams try to do. Set themselves up, pin the enemy team in, and just jump in as they will.
With Arrow on a Mall, there are some tight corridors there as well too, Ashley. So we saw that a lot of 1v1 situations are very important. We saw that from Taiji, from the GG boys. You figure it'll be just as vital this time around.
Very much so, and I think we'll see more umbrellas, especially like you said with that tight corridor. The Tenta umbrella really comes in handy to be able to push an opponent backwards, to keep them off balance, and be able to take them down. But yeah, those 1v1s are going to be really key in this fight.
And 9, we just saw a shot of that beautiful stage, and how great is it for these teams to compete at this high level, knowing that these are the best of the best teams. They have gone through the rankings here. They have gone through the battles and the matches and the qualifiers, and here you are on the big stage getting a chance to take on each other.
This is the payoff. This is why you practice. This is why you put in the hundreds, the thousands of hours that you do into this game. This is why you stay up late. This is why you get up early. It is for this chance right here.
How many hours was it, did Kyo say he had logged into Splatoon?
Over 5,000.
Yeah.
Just
5,000, that's
you have a
dumb.
lot, 9. I'm there feeding a bottle late at night, and 9's online putting in more hours, so I love the work, my man. Let's go ahead. Arrow on a Ball, Clam Blitz. Let's take a look at these teams. You've got FT Win in the purple representing North America, and Alliance Rogue in the green representing Europe. And once again, that clan management, taking care of the currency on the map, seems to be more important than getting splats at times here, 9.
It is, and there's one person in particular I'm going to point out again. I pointed him out last time. 2D right here playing the L3, the Kensa L3, has a hammer. We have seen the hammer do some pretty great things, and it's honestly the best answer for Tentabrella. We're getting a sneak peek. Speak it into existence.
You want to be the hammer, you don't want to be the nail. 2D getting some home remodeling done right there. 4-3 advantage on the field for FT Win, but you see a power clamp in the hands of Alliance Rogue right now. Let's see if they can advance it into FT Win territory. And Ashley, the problem is FT Win can see where that power clamp is coming from.
Yes, it is glowing. And so everybody knows who has the power clamp, and it sort of becomes little kids playing soccer. Everybody's after that power clamp.
You saw Gray trying to utilize some bubbles to clear a path, but unable to do so near the basket. And so a power clamp still in the hands of Alliance Rogue. Shaq winning a big-time one-on-one, but gets some reinforcement help from his teammates. Alliance Rogue able to avoid that. 3-2 on the field for Alliance Rogue.
And Gray really has to be the key player here. He's been in the middle of a lot of the action so far, but we saw what the Tentabrella can do. And given that FT Win does not have one of their own, it's going to be on Gray to push the advantages that weapon has as far as he possibly can.
Ice with the power clamp, a couple of power clamps for FT Win on the field. Neither team has been able to get it into the basket on either side. Middle of the map has been where a lot of the traffic is taking place. Joe with the splash down, Gray still being patient, deploying some bubbles right here. Here comes the Stingray. Alliance Rogue seems like this is where they want to make the push here now.
Here comes a Stingray, Bubbles, Baller.
What the hell?
Right there. Gray is going to get the score, and they're going to jump somebody in. Gray actually was able to stay up for that, so Soren doesn't look like he's going to be able to get any more. I believe this is going to be the end of this push for the time being, but 57 is a big mark. We say that this is the mark where your score is officially good because now 2 power clams will not equalize it.
Such a good point in Ashley. We saw a nice job of Alliance Rogue clearing some traffic, using the bubbles to get the basket open, but then you saw the teammate use the super jump.
Yeah, this is
oh my God.
Like Nine said, classic strategy on Clam Blitz. Now though, like Nine said, you've got North America. FT
The
Win
news that I
really
just saw.
to get at least 2 power clamps plus a little more.
Kyo and Kiver applying some nice pressure. That Stingray taking out a member of Alliance Rogue. Kyo,
Oh my God.
Here comes the clams ready to go. Here comes the power clam. A couple of more buckets, but nicely negated. However, they're filling the basket. The timer is live. Ice has got some clams. A splash wall providing some protection. This is a big 1v1. They trade. Let's see if we can get any more FT Win members in there. They're 1 clam away here tonight, and they get it, and they take the lead.
Just enough there, and Shaq was actually able to jump back in and sneak more. Shaq is going to keep this open as long as he can there and able to stay alive. They're going to be able to jump more people to Shaq right now if they want. They might opt to stick with this score right here, and it does look like they are. Shaq, have a day.
Shaq clearing the way for his teammates. It's all right to be greedy in this version, Shaq. I see you. 142 left, 44-57 lead. How about the hammer coming out once again for 2D? You called it 9, and then how about the liberal use of the splash wall, Ashley, providing some nice protection for FT Win when they need it most?
That splash wall is one of my absolute favorite subs. It's a great way. You can jump in front of it, jump behind it. It's a really, really great defense for anybody looking to push forward. So he's doing a great job with it.
Let's see if FT Win wants to be on the offensive with a minute 15 left. They have a power clam ready to go. Ice is coming in, but it's only 2-1 on the field. And your Alliance Rogue 9, you've got a little bit of time left to mount a comeback, but you've got to be very careful about how you do it.
You do. I mean, you've got plenty of time here. 2 power clams are going to take the lead for them right now, and they know that with just a minute. They're going to try to get control and make great bomb up against that splash wall. Splash wall is fun to use when you're not in front of it, but when you are, anything can take you down.
Yeah, you want to make sure the ink is the same color as you when you're approaching that splash wall. Here comes a chance for Alliance Rogue. They've broken the barrier.
It's close.
Here comes some more clams. They seize the lead from FT Win, but 38 seconds left. That timer's still going. Let's see if Alliance Rogue can pack the lead. However, like you said, 9, just 2 power clams away from FT Win.
They snuck more in.
Just before the door closed, they grab one more bull and they go ahead and pad their lead. At this point now, it's going to take more than 2 power clams for the most part for FT Win. How about a huge turn of events by Alliance Rogue?
It is, and really the catalyst for that was Gray with the Tentabrella moving in, and then in the middle of all that chaos, hiding in the back. Nobody knew he was there. We are going to enter overtime here because they do have a power clam left on the map, but they're going to need a lot more than 1.
It's a trade right there. We're going to head to overtime. You hear the siren sounding. Ice has got to be patient. Has a power clam ready to go. They're going to need more than 1, though. You see the clam economy at the top. There's going to be a lot becoming available here soon. Oh, can't get the splat on Gray with the tent umbrella. Gray trying to stay alive and weaken the forces. There's only one FT Win member left. Hanging back right there. And that'll do it. Alliance Rogue seizing control of this match. And we've got a 1-1 tally as we get set for game 3 here, Ashley. And this is what's exciting about Clan Blitz. It's about that one moment you get to break the defenses and then making the most of your opportunity.
That is exactly what Alliance Rogue did, and they did it multiple times in this game. And honestly, watching them really have that strategy locked tight, and all of them were together. They made that concentrated, coordinated effort right under the basket, and then snuck a couple in there right after. So that really actually made a huge difference.
It did. I think that's actually really the moment of the game where the entire dynamic changed, because at that point they had to score not only one power clam but a second power clam and then some, and it's all because, you know, every one of those clams is worth 3 points. You sneak 4 more in, that's almost an entire other power clam. It meant that FT Win had to go out and be risky trying to collect more clams.
And that's such a good point, because you think you have the safety of 2 power clams to get the victory there. No, you got to add some more to your bucket there as you get set. Let's take a look at our next upcoming ranked mode match. It will be Splat Zones at Mako Mart, as we saw earlier. And as we continue to mention that we love Splat Zones amongst the competitive community because of how consistent it can be.
It can, and we saw last time when you get the lead, you have to push up. You have to be a little bit careful about not going too deep, but as long as you're putting pressure on the opponent, you can get big scores. And we didn't even get the chance to talk about the penalty. Sometimes flipping the map is just enough to buy yourself a little more time.
And that's such a good point that you make right there, because if you can just buy yourself some time with that penalty, Ashley, you don't need to panic. You can seize control. We've seen before with Splat Zones. Once you have control, you can almost run that thing all the way down to 0.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can buy yourself enough time to really get in a couple of key splats, specifically the people who are in midline, maybe whose job it is to keep you away from that splat zone. So I think being able to take back and apply that penalty to your opponent is a huge part of the strategy in any splat zone game.
And what's been interesting is our teams are taking the maximum allotted time in between matches to talk strategy. So obviously we see how competitive it is here, 9, and you're learning and applying things from maybe the last match that you want to take into the next ranked match.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned the last match, because the last mode that is in this set is actually another tower control game. I think Alliance Rogue knows we probably need to win this, because if game 5 comes up, we probably aren't going to win that one.
Splat Zones and Mako Mart. We've got FT Win in yellow and Alliance Rogue in blue here on your map. Loadouts, anything stand out to you, 9?
Well, again, the tent umbrella coming out of Gray. This one is one of the new weapons, the Sheldon's Pigs that were announced at PAX. This one has a wicked hammer. We'll see if Gray gives us some highlight reel material.
Obviously, one zone in here, and already FT Win claiming this one. Kyo trying to apply some pressure down the cereal aisle. No luck right there. 1v1 versus Kimber. How about the help and the support of the Stingray in that situation, Ashley?
That is exactly why he won that one-on-one, because it became a 1.5-on-1.
Oh, but Alliance Rogue and Gray going with the hammer, but let's go ahead and put the tools away. No time to work. FT Win taking control of the zone, but the penalty, there we go. They got the penalty. They're out of the principal's office here, and they're getting ready to pad their lead at this point. You've got a couple of backliners on each team here, 9, but you have to advance them in this map, it seems like.
You do, and that's why both of these teams are waiting until the exact right moment to use their Stingray. Kill getting styled on a little bit there, and Erza gonna put another pick there. This lead is going to go back the other way, but this is the key moment. Splat Zones is so exciting because teams have gotten so good at this phase, which we call the lockout phase.
And here comes the lockout. Lead switching back into the hands of Alliance Rogue. They've got 4-4 on the map, a couple of specials ready to go. FT Win can't seem to get into that zone. They're getting pushed back towards their spawn. They're going to need to really utilize those specials here in a push, and that's what they do, Ashley.
Oh, man, yeah, they are pushing right now. Ice is doing a really great job with that Stingray. I am shocked that so many splats came out of that, just because now Alliance Rogue had 3 specials, and then they lost a couple of them.
And 9, it seems like this match is a personification of these two teams, tightly contesting the lead, switching hands back and forth.
Well, this is so often what we see at Splat Zones at this level. It's a battle of both sides building up their specials, coming back in, trading lead, and then they lose it. The switch really comes when the specials don't take anybody on the other team out. When you flip the zone, but you don't get the lockout phase started. But again, we're seeing the exact same thing that we've seen again and again. But I think that Alliance Rogue is pushed up here a little further than they were last time, this might be their chance to take it the distance.
And you see the penalty really slowing down the progress for both teams at this point, because as that score gets lower, that penalty is going to get higher. Nice splat by Ice on Greg. Let's see if FT Win can seize control. No. Great job by Alliance with the lockout phase. But, as always, FT Win claiming control. And it seems like Ashley FT Win is doing a good job of not getting pushed back too far.
Yeah, they're also doing a really good job of staying on the high ground. They're doing a really excellent job of communicating, talking about where their teammates are. I mean, that was a trade, but you know what? If you can take out Kyo, that's really good for you.
Oh, FT Win doing a fine job of not losing control of the tower right there. And they take the lead once again. Let's see if Alliance Road can battle back. And then they go ahead and grab the zone. But this is where the penalty starts to come into play here, 9, as our timer is now right around 2 minutes left.
It is, and 2 minutes can be an eternity in Splat zones because that timer moves faster than the one you see at the top of your screen. This checkpoint needs to be taken by this bomb rush. I think that the umbrella might be enough to slow it down here. Maybe not. One gets sniped out of the air. This is going to be the lead going back the other way.
That splashdown getting caught in midair was huge because Alliance Road now takes the lead with only 1:44 left. That's a stiff penalty for FT Win to overcome. Zone is up for grabs. Can FT Win apply the penalty at this point? They do. Now they've got to hold on and try to lock out. They haven't been as successful with it as Alliance Road has been, and Alliance Road once again actually taking the lead, but it's 3-1 on the map. FT Win.
Oh man, that was, this is going to be really tough for Alliance Road here. This is going to be really tough for them, but they might be able to pull it out. They have enough time.
And 9, how about this? You don't see Splat Zone matches go this much back and forth. It really speaks volumes to how evenly matched these two teams are.
It does, and at this point, if you want to see the action, just look at the special meters on the top of the screen. That's what's dictating everything. One of these teams needs to find a pick in a situation they haven't, and getting that forced all the way back is going to be the reason that happened.
And you hear the roar from the crowd as FT Win claims control of the lead once again, and they are finally locking out Alliance Road. Here comes the Stingray, 14 seconds away from a critical Game 3 victory. Oh, how about Ice? Here comes Urza with the baller, and Alliance Road takes back the lead. However, that penalty is going to be huge, Ashley, because they are running out of ticks on the clock.
They're definitely running out of time, and they need to go ahead and lock them out. They're going to have to keep this basically until the game is over.
Kiver and Alliance Road, 30 seconds left. They're going to have to take it into overtime if they want to get this victory. They have a chance, though. They're out of the penalty. Oh, but a couple of big splats once again. They lose control. FT Win's got to seize it, and they're 7 seconds away. 16 seconds away from getting the victory here. Alliance Road gets time for one more push here. They've got to build that special quick to see 2 more of their players right up there. Here comes the baller. Oh, but how about FT Win? There's mayhem in the middle here, 9.
Oh my goodness, right over overtime, and they don't have any specials to work with right now. It's going to be so important that the remaining players of FT Win can hold this position. They don't know he's there. 2D has to get this pick.
They were 1 second away from the match ending, but Alliance Road now just a few seconds away from that penalty erasing. They've got to hold the tower for 13 seconds.
Can they do it?
Here comes FT Win. Can they apply any pressure? Alliance Road with that huge compromise victory. And as the sands of time almost run out, Alliance Road able to hold their position, and they steal a game from FT Win. Go ahead.
That was a bank robbery level steal. Oh my gosh, what an amazing comeback. I mean, for them to be able to hold like that, this is so good. It's so good.
Everybody here in the theater at Ace Hotel is buzzing right now. You see the response from the players, the round of applause from the audience. What a show, what a display of tenacity.
We might need a
by
defibrillator
Alliance
for
Road
9.
Okay, that might be the single greatest game of Splat Zones I've ever seen play. Back and forth, big plays being made. I'm gonna admit, I thought that it was over. Kiver went down with Splashdown with about 20 seconds, or
I said,
Booyah
oh,
Bomb.
I think that's
that was it.
Yeah.
But for them to have the tenacity to come back in with about just a few seconds left, everyone on the map turned to the Splat Zone and said, let's hit the trigger as fast as we can. We've got to paint it, and that is the thinnest edge that you can win by.
1 second left in regulation. And Alliance Rogue able to steal the zone. They overcome a penalty and take the victory in overtime. That's huge because now they take a 2-1 advantage in our semifinals, and it's the first 1-3, which means we get set for our next ranked mode here. We just got done with Splat Zone. That means we're going to have a little rain maker coming up here as well too. And You look at the Rainmaker strategy here, Ashley, and this is one that can end very quickly if you're the team that isn't able to match a push.
Yes, it can end very, very quickly because all you have to do, as easier said than done, of course, is take the Rainmaker to your opponent's goal. And if you can slam dunk that, you're golden, literally golden.
And 9 Rainmaker with these teams, it's all about a coordinated push once again, because you just can't go all solo by yourself and try to be an action hero. You really need the support of your teammates in Rainmaker.
The principles that we talked about in tower control apply here too. You want to play up ahead of the Rainmaker because though the Rainmaker does have a very powerful burst shot, it doesn't move very quickly. It does mean that you're kind of a sitting duck when you have it. It's going to be on the rest of the team to make the big push. So as we saw in tower control, they're going to wait until they get maybe a 1 or 2 squid advantage before they make that push.
2-1 Alliance Rogue has the advantage in the semifinals thanks to a last-second come-from-behind victory in overtime in Splat Zones. They're getting set for Rainmaker here in about 30 seconds, and you're so emotionally charged after a match like that. It seems like both teams need to sort of refocus and not get too caught up into what just happened here in a second 9 as they get set for Rainmaker.
Yeah, at this point, the last game never happened if you're FT Win. You just say, all right, we were a second away from winning that game. Now let's move on to this one. I do think that Rainmaker does favor the way that they like to play. They have been the ones that have been more aggressive, and I think that that's going to be exactly what they need. Because Rainmaker Inkblot Art Academy, there's really only one way you can go.
There really is, and it's a matter of being able to take out the opponents on the high ground here, Ashley, because you want to use that undulation, that difference in height to your advantage. But if you lose pivotal spots here in Inkblot Art Academy, that Rainmaker is going to have a clear path to the goal.
It will have a field day getting right to the goal. It will be very easy.
All right, let's go ahead and get our brushes and smocks ready. Inkblot Art Academy Rainmaker. Alliance Rogue, 1 victory away from taking on the GG Boys in the finals. However, FT Win from North America, they're represented in the green. They want to push this baby to a game 5. 9, what you see in here?
Well, I'm seeing pretty much the same composition that's come out of FT Win here. They have to be comfortable with the way they're playing. They know they were so close, but Urza here is bringing out the first of the rapid blasters that we have seen here. Last year at this time, it was a dominant weapon as Shaq comes over and says, what are you talking about? I'm playing the dominant weapon right here.
4-2 advantage, FT Win. That's going to be huge for moving the Rainmaker forward. 4-1, they're looking for the clean wipe. Kyo going to start to push the pressure into the spawn of Alliance Rogue. And Ashley, Alliance Rogue going to have to play some defense here very quickly.
Absolutely. I mean, they did not want to have that full wipe, so you saw one of those players jump right back to base because they said, you know what, let's just reset, let's compose ourselves, and let's get back out there together.
Jack's got the Rainmaker, has to avoid the onslaught. Oh, almost had the freeway open, but the toll booth was closed. Gets splatted right there. Alliance Rogue able to play a little bit of defense, but early on, 9, we mentioned in these Rainmaker levels, there is a certain point you get to where it becomes very difficult to mount the comeback.
Right, and honestly, getting to this point this early in the game bodes very well, and if it was not almost perfect defense by Alliance Rogue, that one might have gone even further. This Stingray combined with the Tensa missiles is going to open a lot of space for them. They're going to need to move up quickly.
Inkstorm, though, such a powerful special, just set it and leave, and that creates a lot of havoc for FT Win. Alliance Rogue unable to get through that. Ice once again with the Stingray, and Ashley, if you're FT Win, you have the lead. You can now focus on defense a little bit more if you'd like to.
Yeah, I think that's a really good strategy for them. They're going to, like you said, they're going to wait a little bit, get a couple of splats here before they start pushing forward.
9, you look at where you can maybe pin the Rainmaker here to make it very difficult for Alliance Rogue to mount a comeback. Any thoughts about doing that at this point?
Well, I think the wall that they're at right now is where it needs to happen, but they've waited a little bit too long, and they've allowed Shaq to move up here. If he gets one more pick, that might have been it, and they do get some more points out of it. And again, every point means a lot at this level. As Kyo actually pops the splashdown by himself, Urza has to pop this bubble to just to at least slow this push down.
38-70, you see some suction bombs, burst bombs, splat bombs, and torpedoes being deployed right now. Every sub-weapon you can think of. Tenta missiles ready to go. However, that's going to be negated by Kyo. And you see the one-shot splat as well, too. The constant pressure by FT Win, you called it out, 9. They're the aggressor in this one, and it is showing.
Shaq just jumped right in the middle of 2 people, got a splat, and said, no, the pressure's not done yet. Keep an eye to the sky, my friend. We are not done.
And once again, FT Win claiming that Rainmaker, and Ashley just controlling the Rainmaker this whole match has made it difficult for Alliance Rogue to even focus on playing offense. They're on their heels.
Yeah, they are absolutely on their heels here. This has been very difficult for them to get any kind of traction, even in the center of the map, not even in enemy territory.
2D with the Rainmaker trying to scale the wall. Nicely negated by Gray and that Brella. Rainmaker in the middle of that wall. Suction bomb coming down. 4-3 advantage on the map, Alliance Rogue, but we know 9, we can never count them out.
No, they can't. And right now, the real change of dynamic here is that every time we see one Stingray, the other one comes out. The time that this is going to shift for either one of these teams is when one of them doesn't have that all-powerful Stingray to either make the push or slow it down.
4-3 on the map, Alliance Rogue. Once again, you look for that player advantage on the map. They have the Rainmaker. Maybe this is the chance where they can make a push here, Ashley.
Yeah, they're going to have to get a couple of really key picks here. I would say if they can take out Toon, but obviously that Stingray is so brutal.
You don't need a dog, you don't need a security system, you just need a Stingray 9.
2 people did go down there at the start of that, though, so even though Ice was able to get that pick, you see that they're all there, and now Soren has his Stingray and is going to be able to fire it at whoever they want. Ray is going to grab it here, and Shaq actually won a 2v1 there to slow that one down.
That's huge right there. Shaq getting the advantage right there because they were in position to go ahead and push that Rainmaker, threaten the lead of FT Win. Keep an eye on the clock in the middle, though. We're approaching about a minute left right now. FT Win with the advantage. You start to think how important it is to play defense and not waste any time or resources, Ashley, trying to extend your lead.
Yeah, one of the things they just did was they let Soren kind of walk around a little bit. They danced around, and then they took him out to stagger him so that that spawn took a little bit longer. They had to wait a little longer to regroup.
Shaq trying to escort the Rainmaker. Dude, he's got a chance, but no. Alliance Rogue with the splat. 36 seconds left. It's all about building specials. Maybe time for one more push here, 9.
It is going to be time for one more push here. They might be able to lose the Rainmaker, repop it, but that is going to be it. And the fact that a couple of them are kind of going down in odd situation is big. Urza's pick there also big, but this Baller is not going to be able to assist with this push. You know, I spoke too soon here.
Baller takes out the splashdown. Here's a chance once again, but they lose the Rainmaker. And of course, Soren with that Stingray, putting in work, almost gets the wipe. 6 seconds left. Rainmaker up for grabs. All they have to do is just secure it or leave it alone. They've got it covered, and that'll do it. Let's go to a game 5 here, y'all. FT Win getting the victory, 2-2. How about that? The aggression by FT Win throughout the match to get the lead early on and protect it.
It was, and protecting the lead changes so much because when the opponent is holding the Rainmaker, you build special meter passively. It is so much easier to play defense as a result of that. And again, because there's only one path that the Rainmaker can go down, you can focus all your defense on one side. And can I just say, of course, we're getting a game 5 between these two. It couldn't go any other way.
Odds are it'll probably be overtime as well, too. But Ashley, we saw 9 call it out. Shaq with a couple of key 1v2 splats in order to protect that critical wall spot really allowed FT Win to play some great defense.
Yeah, it really did. So anytime you have 2 opponents bearing down on you, that is a really difficult thing to win. And it really speaks to his skill level to be able to really handle a 2v1 in such a relatively easy looking manner. I mean, it's not easy for us, but it's easy for him.
Let's take a look at the final 25 seconds of this. We saw almost a push by Alliance Rogue, but the defense applied by FT Win, and 9 take us through the last couple of seconds of this match.
What we saw here, what actually really worried me was Urza getting the pick. So this is a 2-down situation. You see the Stingray come out of Soren early, but that means that Ice got to fire his second. And I know 2D got the pick there, but that was going to be stopped by this Stingray regardless. Ice got another pick just for fun. Let's go ahead and toss an assist on there, and that really was the end of the game.
And it speaks volumes, 9, to the ability of these players to understand score and situation. You have a special built up, that Stingray. You don't just go ahead and use it right away. You wait until the moment where it's most beneficial for your team.
And I think the fact that Ice fired his second really was what changed that whole thing. Soren went early because it was on him to blaze the path with that pick, but Ice said, all right, you fire first, that means I'm going to get the vantage point on you. I'm going to be able to take you out. And at that point, it's just a slow-moving Rainmaker that I've got to stop.
Game 5 semifinals. The winner of this game will advance to the finals to take on the defending champion GG Boys. We have tower control up next, and Ashley, the mentality. We saw an unbelievable comeback in Game 3 by Alliance Rogue. FT Win able to hold their water, get the victory in Game 4. What's the mindset of both these teams as they know there's so much that hinges on this next game?
I think FT Win is really coming in confident into this Game 5 because, one, they've already won a tower control. They're very good at it. And they're also coming into Game 5 with the momentum of having won Game 4. So Alliance Rogue, I think, has a little bit more of an uphill battle here to really take them down, but anything can happen.
And you look at tower control yet again, these teams taking every second they can, 9, to talk strategy, because you talk about this stage. This is the moment. This is where memories are made. A Game 5 in the semifinals for a chance to play in the finals with all of the community watching. going back to the strategy you saw with FT Win and tower control, what are they trying to replicate?
They're trying to push up ahead. They are trying to snowball the opponent, and they are trying to neutralize Soren's Stingrays. That's going to be the big job. They did it earlier with missiles. They did it earlier with counter Stingrays. That's going to be the most important part of this game.
And you said neutralizing the Stingray, keeping them off balance as well too is critical, because that Stingray relies so much on that positioning to see the map and to be comfortable, Ashley.
Yeah, I mean, the Stingray, especially in tower control, is so pivotal. And so you're going to see Ice and Soren facing off over and over and over again. And whoever the better Stingray is going to win the game.
Of course.
That's my prediction.
It's Starfish main stage for the right to play GG Boys in the finals. I know this crowd is ready to go. We've got FT Win from North America in the green, Alliance Rogue in the purple. What do you see from the loadout here, Nine?
This is weapons that we've seen from both of these teams this entire time. They are going with what they know best here. And at this stage, at this level, in a Game 5, I don't blame them whatsoever.
And as we know, that tower is tricky to maneuver over those first 2 checkpoints here, because there's a lot of traffic and really easy for teams to respawn and apply some pressure.
What?
But right now,
How did that happen?
Yo, unbelievable! Yo! 2 advantage on the field for FT Win already. They're going to go ahead and move this tower to the checkpoint. Unbelievable display of individual skill there, Nine.
He shouldn't have gotten either of those. That's not how that's supposed to work. There's a glitch in the system.
We talk about how this is a long match, Ashley, but things happening like that in the beginning can set the stage for the entire match.
It absolutely can, and it did, and it is, because right now they're past checkpoint 1. They're already going forward. I cannot believe he had his back turned.
And Ice applying some pressure with the Stingray Booyah Bomb, not getting a lot of support right there, but it'll have to do. Second checkpoint. This is the big one, Nine.
This is, and it looks like they are dancing around the tower right now, not wanting to give up the advantage they have built. And great job by Alliance Rogue moving up at the time. They're going to hold the tower here, but the threat is not even close to being gone.
That was a huge defensive stop by Alliance Rogue. We cannot stress that enough, because once you get past that second tower, boy, is it hard to mount a comeback. 3:35 left right now. Alliance Rogue and FT Win, same amount of squids and octolings on the map right now. You see Urza trying to apply a little bit of pressure, help support the tower and escort that in there. And for the first time we see here, Ashley, Alliance Rogue applying some pressure.
Yes, and they're doing a really nice job of actually covering the high grounds in ink, and that is really important when you're trying to just delay a little bit. Just delay them just a hair. Make them ink that turf so that they have to spend a little time there as opposed to getting right to the tower.
Alliance Rogue able to get back on the tower. That's big right there, Nine. They're trying to get to the second checkpoint, but they are down 3-2, and a great defensive stop by FT Win.
It is, but you have to say for Alliance Rogue, you're happy with that because you lost to the Stingray essentially in that situation. That's what slowed that down, but you now have a much easier path to get there a second time. Win a couple times in this neutral game, you'll be back in business.
Such a good point. That first checkpoint's out of the way, so you can really allow that tower to advance much more quickly without taking a potty break, as we like to say. 2:40 left, 59-36 on the field. Advantage FT Win, and already we see a couple specials coming out trying to dislodge that Stingray, Ashley.
Soren is so good at building up that Stingray. It is outrageous. It's so fast. He has it so often, and he uses it so well.
4-3 on the map for FT Win. They're on the tower now again, and Alliance Rogue gonna have to play a little bit defense. Oh, Shaq in the aid of a 2v1 big time splat there, Nine.
And just the way that they moved around there, you saw, of course, Urza was looking at the tower. Shaq knew that and came around the outside. I don't know what level of coordination it takes to make a call like that in the split second, but they're almost back to that second checkpoint and looking for more points.
FT Win threatening to increase their lead at this point. They get knocked back off the tower. Couple more seconds, they have to hang out on there. Let's see if they can advance it. No, they lose the tower. They seize it back. Alliance Rogue doing all that they can to prevent this second checkpoint from clearing, and they again stop it in its tracks in reverse course, Ashley.
I am very impressed at the defense that's happening here, but you can see there's a lot of coordination on what is being thrown at the tower. So a lot of Tenta missiles. You got Tenta missiles, you got a Stingray, it's all at the same time. It's a really great way to get everybody away from the tower.
And Nine, it seems like FT Win can afford to be aggressive because the tower has to return, but hold on to your tentacles. Alliance Rogue on the tower, pushing it into the second half of the map here shortly.
And what FT Win's trying to do is get these small picks so that they can't get all 4 specials at the same time. They know that that is the only way they're going to lose this. They're willing to trade if it means they keep those specials away.
Stingray trying to put a red light in front of the tower at this point. Tower gets returned back on its track. Alliance Rogue hops back on top though. 2D using the umbrella. Kimber getting splattered once again, flanked from behind. Nice work of the 2v1s for FT Win. Under a minute left here, Ashley. This is where FT Win has to lock things up and not allow Alliance Rogue to sneak through the back door.
All they have to do is play a little defense, stay on the tower. It sounds so simple, right?
Yeah.
That easy, right?
It's just that easy.
And 9, that's a good point. You have 40 seconds left to have the lead. Towers in their half. When you decide, listen, we're going to go ahead and bulk up our defense and hang on to this victory.
Well, right now they're saying the best defense is this kind of offense. Check, not even stopping the shots there. They're once again almost at the checkpoint, and with just 25 seconds left, they're going for the knockout. They're greedy. They want more.
Do what got you here and play aggressive. They're past checkpoint number 2. 18 seconds left. It's looking like a steep hill for Alliance Rogue, but they're back on the tower. Urza getting splatted by that torpedo. Kyo and company, they just have to sit back. 9 seconds left. Can Alliance Rogue do it, or will FT1 punch their ticket to the final? 3 seconds left. And that'll do it. FT Win from North America. They win Game 5 in the semifinals. They advance to the finals to take on the GG Boys, and they survive a 2-1 deficit, Ashley.
I mean, this is exactly what brought them here. They are so good at tower control, and coming in with that momentum from that Game 4 win, they were really tough to beat.
My goodness, just some terrific games, and like you said earlier, how about a big round of applause for Alliance Rogue from Europe? Unbelievable matches we saw, and really, 9, that Game 3 that Alliance Rogue in the Splat zones, you said one of the best you've ever seen.
It really was. Their ability to continue to fight back no matter how bad the circumstances were, I think shows what it takes to be a team of this quality. Can we please talk about that opening 1v2 that Kyo won? That set the tone for the whole final.
Whole entire game.
Let's go ahead and give you a replay here, my good friend. See what Kyo did. And we mentioned these matches are so long, sometimes things don't matter in the beginning, but in this situation it did. It allowed FT Win, and take us through what we're going to see from Kyo here, 9.
Well, I think if you'll allow me to get a little bit technical here, you can see this is the beginning of the map. Nobody really has many specials that are built. If Kyo goes down here, they lose this entire right side where that first checkpoint is going. Kyo gets that pick, which means they're going to be able to hold on to it. But getting this pick not only means that they're 2 down, as we see a little dance in there, it also means that that's 2 specials they won't have that FT Win will have.
And that was so huge because they established that early lead and never seized it. Let's take a look at the bracket as we get set for finals here. How about that? 5 unbelievable matches between FT Win and Alliance Rogue. That means the GG Boys, who swept Lime Soda, swept the Ink Pools, the defending champions, will take on FT Win. FT Win, though, they're looking to do more than to just take a single game here, Ashley. They're looking to make a statement and possibly upset the GG Boys and end the dynasty.
Look, let's all be honest here. The GG Boys are amazing. We know this, but they're not entirely invincible. They have lost before, right, 9? I mean, they have lost a final. So it's not unrealistic to think that FT Win coming into this final with all of that enthusiasm, all of that momentum. I mean, Kyo is fired up. And who wouldn't be after a performance like that? Come into that final and get out there and get something done. It's not unreasonable.
Well, if I remember, in Grand Finals last year, the GG Boys did drop a game. So if they drop a game, they could drop 2. They could drop 3. They could drop the whole set right now. FT Win has all the momentum. They have this entire crowd at their back as well. There is so much going for them right now, but the GG Boys, ever steady.
Well, what you said about FT Win, when they are at their best here, 9, they are very difficult to beat. And minus that unbelievable comeback we saw in Splat Zones by Alliance Rogue, really, FT Win almost won that thing 3-1 over a very solid European team. And that's what they're playing for right there. The Splatoon Sterling Squid. North America won it in 2017.
Sterling
GG Boys last year in
Squid.
2018. There's room on that trophy for a champion this year, but GG Boys standing in the way of FT Win.
Someone's going to go up 2-1 in the set of sets. The tournament of tournaments right here. And, you know, I have to wonder a little bit. GG Boys winning with such ease that they did, winning 3-0 and then waiting for, you know, the better part of an hour for that. I wonder how this first game's going to go. They might be a little cold.
Yeah, rhythm versus rest. It's a best of 7 now, so we get even more Splatoon 2 action in our championship match between the GG Boys and FT Win. We'll be doing ranked modes, but as we saw, Ashley, depending on which ranked mode comes up twice possibly, if this does go beyond 4 games, is huge because you could argue that tower control being the 5th game was a big positive for FT Win. We're going to start with tower control also, and both these teams, it looks like it's one of their strongest modes.
It definitely is, but I'm very curious how GG Boys is going to handle not really having a backliner, especially with, you know, you've got Ice back there with that Stingray, and he is a menace. is an absolute menace. So I'm really curious to see how they respond and what their strategy is.
And 9, you figure we'll see some Yamamichi with the Stingray as well, too. He's done a fine job of really providing that backline support at times when that special comes for him.
Well, I'm really interested in seeing, they've been running, I agree that they don't have a traditional backliner, but they've been saying, to heck with that, we're running 2 backliners. That's what they've done. They've done a custom Explosher as well.
It's a struggle.
As Yamamichi's Stingray.
You're watching
producing
3
custom
streams?
jet squelchers.
Why?
So I think that they're trying to control the pace
Who's the
of
third
map
stream?
with that double backline composition. It can work, and it has worked at the highest level. It's a control-oriented game up against an aggressive pressure-based game.
Well, this was something the GG boys said earlier this week. They understand that the mechanics of the game have changed since last year, and where last year they were more aggressive with shorter range weapons, they realized the value in longer range weapons. And so let's get set. Tower Control, our first game in finals here between the GG boys of Japan, your defending champions, taking on FT Win from North America. Tower Control, game 1 here, 9. We get so excited for this one, obviously, because anything can happen, but Wahoo World, that's going to provide some interesting strategy for this one.
It will. This is a great long-range map, and you actually see Kyo switching over to the Neo, the sloshing machine Neo, which is not a weapon that we have seen a lot. It's got the point sensor for a sub and a bomb rush. They're going to be using that to pressure the opponent. There's a lot of open ground here. They're going to take it real quick with that one.
FT Win in the green, GG boys of Japan in the orange early on. Nobody else getting a spell. There's an early splat right there. 4-3 advantage GG boys, and oftentimes athletes, things can change in the beginning.
Yamamichi gets these Stingrays in 12 seconds.
How about a couple of nice clean splats off the tower? Tai G riding that thing to the first checkpoint. Dynamon.
Oh man, you think there's going to be an announcement for Splatoon?
Ice with that Stingray, trying to get a splat. Tai G, meanwhile, that Inkjet providing some aerial support.
Thank goodness they were able to get somebody out in that situation. If that Stingray found nobody, that was going to be what could have potentially been the game right there. You see 2 of them going down. They're just a little bit disorganized right now. They aren't taking 2v1s.
GG boys back on the tower and pressuring once again at that first checkpoint. Oh, big 1v1 victory for Yamamichi. Dynamon coming in with that baller, providing a little bit more support. Oh, Dynamon had a chance to flank him right there, but the 2v1 gets reversed, and FT Win playing some more great defense after.
Those are some really big trades there, and I think completely neutralized anything that was happening in that moment for both teams.
You get the feeling here, 9, that FT Win has finally stabilized a little bit after getting knocked on their heels early on.
When there's a 12-second Stingray, of course you're going to get a little taken down, and Shaq has actually gotten 2 picks with just random bombs that he has tossed out in the general direction. That's what zoning can do for you, and now we're starting to see a push back the other way.
4-2 on the field for FT Win at that moment. It's now 4-3 GG boys. Now they're in the defensive. That's enough. Fine positioning right there. And how about FT Win taking the lead here, Ashley?
I mean, FT Win is doing a really great job right here. Tona, though, doing the work, getting out there. He's getting a little aggressive. Let's see. He doesn't quite take that down.
3-1 and a nice almost wipe right there by FT Win. They're past the first checkpoint. And yes, GG boys, they can't get hit. They get knocked back, and FT Win starting to really push that lead, and that's a big checkpoint there, 9.
It is. This is the best that I have ever seen Shaq play. He came, as he put it, from the very bottom, and he is pushing up right here. You can see Shaq and Killer there as well. This is becoming a steamroll right here. They only needed 1 good hold to take it all the way down to 13 and that final checkpoint.
GG boys trying to fend off the final score. Shaq with some tented missiles. However, GG boys are like, hold up a second. We the defending champs for a reason. This thing ain't over. 4-4 on the map. GG boys, though, they do not have much room for error. They are down 71-9 with 2.5 left. But here comes yet another Stingray providing support. And you figure here, Ashley, this is going to be another nice push by the GG boys.
It is. I am a little curious, 9. Like, do you think that might have been a little bit too early on the Stingray for Yamamichi? I feel like maybe he should have held it a little bit longer.
Well, there were so many people that were still up in the middle of the map that I can understand using it just to try to buy yourself a little time and space. Right now, they've been losing their 1v1s. They've been getting outspaced after what was a pretty shaky opening from FT Win.
Yo, as we said, getting some critical 1v1s. That point sense is going to help prevent the GG boys playing any hide-and-go-seek. Here comes a super jump defensively. Tai G in that Inkjet, applying more pressure. And once again, GG boys, they have to go through the first 2 checkpoints. But this thing is far from over. Here they are, and this is where they've been unable to get by here, 9. Let's see if Dynamon can get some reinforcements to help out.
He will need some reinforcements. You saw that Ethanol was pushed up in a great spot, and Taiji is too. Shaq trying to call out that Taiji is pressuring them, and this Stingray is going to be the most important part of the game here. Like I said before, if this can't find a pick, they're already one down.
No pick right there. Tower resets itself. Head back to the middle. Yamamichi, in the middle of a 2v1. Nicely done by FT Win. They've got a 4-3 advantage. Tower reclaimed by the GG boys, and that first checkpoint is clear. Taiji trying to mow down some traffic. Taiji gets a big splash. Using the tower for protection. Moves around. His teammates spawning in. 3v1 situation. Unable to escape that, and now it's 4-3 on the map, and this is the pivotal point here if the GG boys can get back on the tower here, Nine.
Well, this has been really scary. This is similar to traditional sports where one team is holding possession for a long time. The GG boys have been winning the last minute of this game, and you figure it's just a moment before one of these two teams slips, and that pick right there might have done it.
Yamamichi on the tower using the Stingray. It's 4-2 GG boys. Another Stingray coming back. Ice has to make this count, and huge! Get out the club, Yamamichi, as Ice uses the Stingray. But once again, the GG boys continue to apply pressure. They're right by the tower. They're being patient, taking care of any threats. Less than 20 seconds left remain. It's 4-2 though, GG boys at 9. They got to make it count right here.
They do, approaching the second checkpoint. This might be some very crucial. Ink Armor should allow 2D to win this 1v1, and he does. This is it right here. All of the GG boys need to stay alive as long as they can. And with 2 already down and 4 seconds left, this is going to be it, I believe.
And that does it. FT Win. Able to hold their ink at the end. They steal the first game of the championship from the GG boys and take a 1-0 lead, Ashley. And now GG boys, they're having to feel a little pressure in this situation.
I bet. I mean, like Nine had mentioned, I mean, they've been backstage waiting, watching, sure, and making a strategy, but also waiting. And now FT Win's got some momentum. They are fired up, and they're gonna come into this next
crazy
game ready to go.
The determination, the communication,
it's
the
an
look
upset.
on the face of FT Win. They are
Starting now.
confident that this is something that they can take from the GG boys. Let's look at a couple of highlights here, Nine, as you walk us through some of the action. So many pivotal points in this match, but right now, this is where FT Win really got their final big score of the game.
And this is, I think, the telling story of the difference in between these two teams. We talked earlier about what a double backline composition can do in terms of control, but the composition that FT Win is running and the way they play, they say, to heck with your control, we're moving up and you have to play perfectly to stop us. That is why they were able to push far as they were. But I will say, some people that I've talked to before this said that tower control may be the worst mode for the GG boys. They might be looking at this saying, you know, we actually played pretty well given that. Let's go ahead and take the next one.
Very interesting point. Here comes the Stingray from Ice, because you felt like this is the point the GG boys had the advantage. They were up 4-2, but the splat on Yamamichi not only stops the tower, but turns the tide of momentum on the field, and FT Win never shaking in their boots here, Ashley.
Yeah, I mean, getting that pick on Yamamichi was a huge deal because you take one of the best Stingrays in the game out. You also, he's got to wait to respawn. He's not going to get back in time. And so, again, it becomes running down the clock.
Let's take a look at our next ranked mode taking place here. Best of 7, game 1 going to FT Win from North America. As you said, Nine, GG boys might not be sweating this loss in tower control. They know that they've got some other modes where they might be favored. We have Rainmaker coming up here next. And what's interesting is we have 2 Rainmakers, 2 tower controls in this best of 7 if we go to 7. And so Rainmaker, what we saw earlier on, FT Win the more aggressive team, that really helped them out. But GG boys, you talk about aggressive, you're going to find GG boys in the dictionary.
You will, and the fact that this is on Humpback Pump Track as well means that they're going to be able to attack it in a number of different ways. If they opt to stick with this double backline composition, there's enough room that you can pester people from regularly safe positions. So I'm interested in seeing if they stick with this, and if this doesn't work, they might need to find a new answer quickly.
And Nine, we haven't talked much about the sub-abilities that you can use right now. Is there anything that you're seeing from these teams that might be turning the tide of the map or speaks volumes to their strategy, possibly?
Anytime you use a Kensa Splattershot Pro, which is one of the most popular weapons, Kyo has been using it, we saw Kibber using it earlier as well, you're going to want to stack that main power up. That can turn that thing into from a 3-shot splat into a 2-shot splat.
Such an important aspect to keep in mind right there. But Ashley, Humpback Pump Track, Nine made a good point. There's really no place to hide in this map as well, too. There's so many different ways that you can be attacked, and so aggression, aggression, aggression as they get set. Let's get ready for game 2 here. FT Win with a 1-0 lead in our finals. GG boys trying to even this thing up. We've got Rainmaker, GG boys of Japan in the purple, and what do we see here?
Wow.
Caused such a reaction here, Nine.
Double custom jet squelcher? That's the answer? I've never seen this before. This is going to be 2 Stingrays, 2 burst bombs, lots of range, Asuna is using the Kensa you know, I'm going to need a minute just to recover from this one. It's actually the Octo Brush Nouveau. This is another weapon that we almost never see in competitive play. The Octo Brush itself is great, and they're trying to use that and create as much pressure. They say, Ice, you know, you have a Stingray, we're going to throw 2 at you, buddy.
FT win with an early lead of the Rainmaker, but not much going on there because this is humpback pump track and anything can happen for the most part. 2D with some Ink Storm ready to go, trying to provide some saturation on this map at this point. 4-4. Neither team with a huge advantage on the map right now. Fighting for mid, a Stingray coming out once again as 2D backpedals, and Ashley, once again, the Stingrays can do so much controlling the map on this stage.
Yeah, and with 2 of them, it's going to be even more interesting to see how that happens. Although, Ice is so good and so precise with that Stingray that Dynamon really didn't stand a chance there.
You're going to hear that Stingray scream in your dreams right now. Yamamichi, meanwhile, just hanging out low. Oh, in the middle of a 2v1. Gets splatted right there, and that's a 4-3 advantage. Rainmaker at 42. FT win. Trying to surprise GG Boys once again, but 9. Getting to 21. How does that fare on this map?
I mean, I think this makes the job so easy. As Shaq gets around for a flank, he might be able to win the game right here. He tries at 11. Everything what I was about to say, multiply it by a little bit, and it's still the same here. This is a very passive composition that the GG Boys are running. What they're trying to do is be able to target Ice's Stingray, and then still have another one to play with the long, narrow path that Rainmaker has to travel.
It's interesting that the GG Boys are adapting to the FT win strategy. Meanwhile, FT win is just going what works best for them as well, too. And you see it's working well, but the GG Boys finally on the map right here. Rainmaker stuck at the bottom of that ramp at this point. Ice doing a nice job of negating that. Stingray ready to go. There's a look at your map. 3-3 on the field. 3 minutes left. GG Boys have plenty of time, but now FT win, Ashley, you've got the lead. You start to think about playing defensively to get a chance.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, that's what you want to do, but Etona is making that really difficult. And that double Stingray means that you've got 2 players. One can focus on taking out Ice, and the other one can focus on taking out 3 other players.
And 9, we saw those Penta missiles, part of the GG Boys strategy to really disrupt the Stingray and the camping ability of FT win. Tai T getting a nice little pick on that Inkjet as well, too.
And this is finally where the strategy might pay off a little bit. You saw that they immediately went with the double Stingray, and that's actually going to be able to get a couple here, so they're going to get a chance to push. If Taiji wins the 1v1 and he's not able to, they might have been able to push up a little more, but you look at their composition, they just don't have that many aggressive weapons. They're relying very heavily on Stingray.
It's such a good point. They need the specials and long range in order to get their splats in. For FT win, they love the aggression. They will get up in your face and challenge you. That Rainmaker 2D's got an escort and a little bit of room to go. Yamamichi trying to negate things. Here comes yet another Stingray. Oh! Stinging on stinging, and Ice is able to survive that Stingray war. And here comes FT win. They've got the Rainmaker. They've got the sizable lead. Now they just have to be a little bit patient here. And GG Boys once again on their heels here, 9.
Well, I can't say enough how nice it is. The reason that Ice seems to always be winning these Rainmaker, these Stingrays, is because he can be reactionary. And speaking of reactionary, the crowd reaching a fever pitch as 2D almost gets
gosh.
there. Still back to 11, but again, the pressure that they are able to exert and the fact that Ice can wait for the Stingray to come out and respond to it means that he's always Stingraying from an advantage.
Yamamichi with the Stingray. 1:18 left. So the GG Boys running out of time. They certainly want to avoid a 2-0 hole. Here comes Taiji using that Inkjet for a bit of advantage, but Shaq getting through the defenses and stopping the Rainmaker in its track. A minute left. Oh, nice little one shot as well there. 3-2 on the field. GG Boys, they have a 4-2.
Oh, no.
You've got to be careful if you're FT win here. Esuna using that Tenta missiles to dislodge everything. And now it's 2-1. How about FT win trying to hold their water at this point here, Ashley?
I mean, FT win's going to have to work really hard right now to be able to hold this. GG Boys are really doing a great job. That was a great pick. Excellent pick right there. Now we've reset just a little bit. They can take a chance. They can breathe.
The 1v1s and the 2v1s, FT win really riding those to this lead at this point. Rainmaker still in the territory of FT win. But GG Boys, you got less than 30 seconds left. You have to make something happen now. 2D getting the splat. Starting to move forward here at this point. 20 seconds left. Rainmaker up for grabs at this point. 4-2 on the map, FT win. If they can close this out, they'll take a commanding 2-0 lead in this best of 7. Dynamon and the troops trying to get their push together. Here comes the Stingray. Is it gonna go to overtime? Can anybody get the Rainmaker in time? Yamamichi grabs it, but he gets splatted. That does it. FT win. Once again, 9, you said it. When this team is playing at their best, it is hard to stop them. Not even the defending champs can right now.
Both games have started the same way. It's been a matter of getting an early lead and then continuing to protect it and play defense. It's so much easier to play defense. And again, I think the most important moment there, when the GG boys were in command and looked like they might get a pick, Ice dove down and traded his little squid for 2 of theirs. The fact that he was able to get 2 with 1 jump, I think, is what stopped that push in its tracks.
Huge pick, huge pick. And honestly, like, I think you mentioned the double Stingray is almost a really conservative approach that you can take during Rainmaker. And it felt like if you're going to take that approach, you cannot get splatted, because if you're being conservative with an aggressive team like FT Win, they get 1 pick on 1 Stingray, it's off to the races.
And it's such a good point, Nine, because you were talking about the composition you saw from the GG boys at the beginning, and this is a team that's known to be aggressive. We're going with some rather passive weapons here. Do you think if you're the GG boys, you maybe change your strategy and go back to your old, much more hyper-aggressive ways?
I don't know if hyper-aggressive is the way I'd go, but I do think that I don't think the double backline is going to work for them right now. This has become a battle of trying to control that which cannot be controlled. And the other thing that we really need to just look at, they're a control-oriented composition that is trying to play from behind, and that is not where that type of composition can succeed.
2-0 advantage FT Win. Let's take a look at our next rank mode coming up here. We've already seen some tower control, some Rainmaker, Clam Blitz coming up here at 9 as you go ahead and gaze into the future of this one. What are we going to see from Clam Blitz on this next map?
Well, this is Snapper Canal, which is a very open map. There's a lot of room you can move on the left and to the right side, which means that the weapons that can paint better and the more mobile composition tends to win. And that's FT Win right now. They're the more aggressive composition. They're the ones that's going to be able to build up the clams at a quicker pace.
What's amazing to me, Ashley, is that FT Win was staring a 2-1 deficit in the face in best of 5. They had just been upset on Splat Zones at the last second. How about their resolve? They've won 4 straight games now.
I mean, this is it's not like we haven't seen comebacks like this during this has been a crazy World Championship, and the path to it have been full of crazy upsets. I mean, we watched Australia, New Zealand, West Lime Soda come back from that 0-4 deficit. I mean, they're unstoppable right now, FT Win.
The Splatoon Sterling Squid, just 2 games away from FT Win. However, the GG boys, if you want to talk about a team that won't quit, that's them. But 9, as you said, between the stage and game mode, this might play into the hands of FT Win. They're going to be in the blue. Meanwhile, GG boys of Japan in the green, and it's all about managing that clam economy on the map, where what we've seen is a very determined, confident, resolved FT Win team, and a couple of changes in their lineup here.
Yeah, we're seeing Etina go ahead and switch back over to the Umbrella, and on the other side we see the ballpoint Splatling that is coming out of Ice, who has had the tournament of his life so far, and he's going to try to rotate back here. It is a little bit more mobile of a backliner here, so again, the focus on mobility. On the other side, though, the GG boys saying, now this is a bigger map. Now we can control it a little more, and finally we don't have an objective that you can push.
A couple of squid beacons coming out as well, too, allowing FT Win to navigate this map as well, too. But you see the 10th Umbrella providing a lot of protection right there. And already, Power Clam into the goal here for the basket. GG boys, first one on the map. Here comes the baller. Let's see if they can add anything else to their score. But that's going to help more than anything else. The GG boys finally taking the early lead in the game mode here, 9.
They do, but the fact that they just gave FT Win what we call the pity clam right there, when your basket closes after the opponent scores, you get the chance to get a free clam. And right now we see Yamamichi just trying to get rid of Ice there, and with it, that pity clam. So I don't know that the 1 score really does a whole lot for them in this situation.
Dynamon also utilizing a squid beacon to advance behind the...
They're somehow doing it, Puck.
FT Win. He's got a power clam ready to go, but you know you can't hide with it. Everyone knows where you're at. More clams being dropped onto the field here, and you see a power clam for each team. B1 with the baller, but Dynamon somehow able to escape that. Oh, but FT Win getting the critical splat. 4-3 on the map for them, and they have a power clam 9.
They do, and Shaq getting another pick right here. He's going to just try to distract anyone who has that higher ground. Going to come get what could have been an easy pick onto Taiji. That's going to be the lead, and it might be a lot more if they don't play this well.
FT Win, 3-point lead over the GG boys to get that 1 extra clam, and that is huge because you look at the penalty, and FT Win, though, They've got the lead. It's going to take one power clam, though, for the GG boys to come back. So not too bad right there. Not too much damage on that side. Still up for grabs either team. And you mentioned the use of the squid beak. It's helping teams move around here, but actually controlling the middle of this map seems to be so important right now, and neither team has really been dominant there.
It really is, and you're right. Neither team has really been dominant controlling the center of the map. I think really at this point the GG boys are just trying to slow down the pace of the game because FT-Win is so out there for blood.
GG boys, they get a power clamp into the basket. They now have a 10-point lead. Trying to get some more reinforcements there to spill some more clams. They do. That timer continues. Etna has to get within reach. And yes, GG boys right here, 9, applying some nice pressure, filling that basket, padding that lead.
Well, I love the fact that Etna opted to move back there and say, I'm going to continue to hold on to this spot with my umbrella that you can't do much about. I will keep this up here. We can score and keep the basket open a little longer if we need to. Otherwise, we'll take the points.
43-77, and that's huge because FT-Win's going to need at least 3 power clams to match the score of GG boys, or at least 2 power clams and then some help. And we know how difficult it's been to score in this game so far, but we see 2 power clams on the map here. FT-Win with a chance to make a push here, Ashley.
Yeah, FT-Win taking out Etona, who is probably the closest to a special with the exception of Yamamichi, but once you do that, now he's got to respawn. His special meter is gone way down, and he's really back at square one.
Shaq gets a critical splat with the baller, gets the power clamp, gets it in the basket, and here's the window of opportunity for FT-Win. Can they get some help and get some more points here? Here comes yet another power clamp, super jumping in, but how about Dynamon with that big time splat at the perfect moment?
It is. Shaq might be able to get a lead here. No, he was not able to collect a clam. Tudi's going to add one more.
FT-Win! At the very last second, they sneak in a couple more clams, and they take a lead with a minute left. And that penalty is huge because 9 is going to take a power clam and then some for the GG boys.
Whenever this is over, Smash is immediately afterwards.
This is where their composition will shine.
Remember, it's 3v3.
Back, or at least I thought so before Shaq ran face first into a 1v2 and still got a pick out of it.
Yamamichi, huge pick right there. 4-3 on the map. FT-Win. They've got to hold on to a 1-point lead. GG boys, they need a couple of power clams in order to recapture the lead here. 30 seconds left. FT-Win can take a commanding 3-0 lead. Let's see if 2D and his gang. Oh, that's a big time splat as well too. Ashley.
Hey, Storm Striker, what's up?
This is where they have to make a push, or else it's going to be a steep hill.
Yeah, I agree. Like the items thing was pretty. They probably shouldn't put items in the tournament, but to be fair, the teams that ended up getting to the World Championships are good. Like they actually do have really good players on the teams. Like, but of course it's like there's more random stuff in there, whatever.
In the semifinals, a game 3 overtime come from behind victory 9.
The ability, they had 2 power clams there. They split them up on both sides of the map. There wasn't a way for all of the members of FT-Win to contribute to stopping one push. We were focused on the push on the right, but the push on the left broke through.
Ashley, your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are that this baby in me is freaking out right now because I just freaked out. That was crazy. I can't believe we just saw that. That was so amazing. I mean, these last seconds snatched from the jaws of defeat victories are always my favorite thing to see. I just shook 9 probably harder than I should ever shake a human being in my life. That was incredible and a true testament to just how good GG boys are and how they will fight until the last possible second.
Let's take a look at a replay from that exhilarating match that we saw there. And 9, go ahead and walk us through what we saw at the split of the power.
You saw the.
Well, I think that Etna got the pick there on the splashdown.
Yeah, it seems like.
It was either that or
I don't know if like when they said
up,
we'll see if we can make these levels available that were made by the Treehouse. If they also meant we'll get like future levels from the developers, that would be cool. Like I already know that.
With the power clam filling in a
I already know that.
Actually, we can't emphasize how big that victory was. GG boys, if
the single player stuff is going to be made by the development team, so I do wonder if like we'll get more stuff from the development team, or if we'll get more Treehouse like levels or something besides that. But that would be cool. Like honestly, think if they released like every time they did like a DLC pack, if they just put out a bunch of levels too, it'd be a cool way to get people like excited about every
is Splat Zones
update that they make for the game.
mode. They invented the game of Splat Zones that we have tried to emulate as best we can. So they might take both of these and flip it right back to 3-2.
Let's see where the rest of our destinations are in this best of 7 finals. It's 2-1 favor of FT Win of North America. The GG boys with an unbelievable come from behind victory. We see that Splat Zones is next. It's also back-to-back here, 9. So here's a chance for the GG boys. If you say that they are as good at Splat Zones as we think they are, here's a chance for them to go up potentially 3-2 going into our final modes. And so you've talked about the competition level. Ashley, we're experiencing it right here. These teams are so well balanced.
They are so well balanced. They are so calm under pressure, and that is really to me what separates the highest tier players. I mean, they don't get tilted. They don't get salty. I mean, they're just like, you know what? It's all right. I got this. I'm one of the best in the world. No problem.
Going back to Splat Zones, the conversation we had with the GG boys earlier in the week, where they feel like they're not going to push aggressively out of the zone. They want to defend it once they have it. What will that look like, 9?
Well, especially on Gobi Arena, which is where we're headed now, this is a map where I almost feel like you have to be willing to push up a little bit. You can see here, you talk about undulation. This has the most of any map. I think the long-range composition that they have might tilt it in their favor.
Lace up your J's and let's play some hoops in Gobi Arena as we get set here. You've got the GG boys in green. FT Win from North America in the purple. It's 2-1 advantage FT Win, but the GG boys are loving the side of Splat Zones, and once again, a single zone Splat Zone map.
And taking a look at the composition that you see FT Win playing right here, they're running double bomb rush, which is not something that you would see a ton. They know that they're going to get zoned out by all the range, so they're saying, let's put bombs up there. You can't shoot those down.
Early lead for the GG boys. They're already up 25 as they control the zone, and you don't see a single FT Win member in this screen whatsoever. So the GG boys not messing around in Splat Zones right now. Edson, I've got to be careful. That's an unequal area. Point sensor coming out. Yamamichi's going to scurry away as that Tenta missiles gets deployed, and Ice once again using the Stingray, but a couple of specials, 9, and they're not able to claim the zone quite yet.
No, they finally do get it, but they're only one down here. Taiji, I thought maybe should have run out a little bit further. We saw that Yamamichi had respawn in that situation and does punish Ice for a bit of overextension. Still a lot of game left to be played.
And Ashley, we talked about the lockout phase that's so important for FT Win. Well, this is what they're going to have to do now that you see the penalty for the GG boys.
Yeah, I mean, if they have that penalty, if they can go ahead and lock them out, don't let them apply a penalty to them, they're going to be in a very, very good position.
Oh, huge reclamation of the Splat Zone by the GG boys. That applies a 35-second penalty to FT Win. 3-2 on the map, advantage your defending champions, 9.
And that's the big thing right there. The fact that they got a 3-2 advantage means they're going to be able to push all the way up. Hill wisely running back here, just making sure that no one's coming around the flank. He has a bomb rush. He knows that they're about to have all 4 specials up. They should be able to take this without too much trouble.
That's a very good point. You see the flashing inkling icons at the top. 4 specials ready to be deployed by FT Win. Meanwhile, they're down. They've got the 4-2 advantage, FT Win, at this point, and they take control of the Splat Zone after the GG boys improve their lead ever so slightly. 3 minutes left. FT Win trying to lock out the GG boys. They've got a 2-1 advantage, but the GG boys early on actually have controlled this entire match.
They have, but I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I know. We watched it. We watched it live here.
It's possible that that one pick just right then, that might actually not be a good thing for GG boys.
Couple of bubbles coming out. GG boys, they take the zone. 2:30 left. Plenty of time left. Both teams with a hefty penalty as well, too. Oh, and Shaq getting splatted, unable to use those Tenta missiles. And the GG boys, they are really stepping up this game, 9.
They are, and this is why the long-range composition works on a map like this. You notice they're able to continue painting the zone without putting themselves in danger. That's why FT Win has opted to go with a double bomb rush composition, because they know that that's the case. But sometimes you gotta have a little more range than that.
GG boys out of the penalty boxes. They're
I know, I'm subscribed to
now
both
they're just 17
I
seconds
knew
away.
that.
Stingray coming out by FT Win. And how about this? 3-2 on the map. GG boys looking to tie things up. 2-2. Can FT Win stop the advance? 1 second.
I'm curious to see what like actual speedrunners have to say about like the whole thing. Like, have to see if like maybe TryHex did like
We are, and thank goodness for that. I was a little worried there
analysis
at the start that I was
on
gonna
it.
have to break out the broom. That will not be the case. But if you are FT Win, you can say, all right, that was the worst possible
I figured like they weren't gonna
that
make
was
it too
a
hard
map that favored their composition on a mode that they are supposed to be best at. I don't think they're losing too much.
Generally, these guys
You're
just
right,
play a
FT
bunch
Win,
of games. They
put up
don't
quite a fight during that match. Even
practice
though the
speed
GG
running
boys
or
seem to always
anything.
control the zone, and actually, mentality-wise,
So it
we're
looks
up
like
2-0.
they
You lose
kind of
another close
made
game,
it
you feel
easy
like you
enough
should have
for
won if you're FT Win.
people
Now
to
it's
figure
2-2,
out who
and you're
haven't
going
like
back to Splat
spent
Zones
tons
once
and
again.
tons of time
What's your
playing Mario
approach?
Maker.
Well, the nice thing is for FT Win is that they have just played a game mode. They're going to play
I
again.
thought for
So
like what it
they
was,
really
like they did a good
understand
job.
what the
Like
strategy is for the GG boys.
with
So
the
they
tort
can
with
say,
the
okay, let's
invitational.
regroup.
It was
figure out how
just
we
like short
can-
and sweet.
Let's figure out how we can
It wasn't a big
shake up the strategy a little bit and
competitive
also
thing
take
either.
back a little bit of that momentum.
I think they
As we
did like
said,
enough
Splat
with the
Zones
levels to
coming up
kind of
next,
show
but
off
also a
some
different
new
map,
stuff.
which might
And
favor a different composition here, 9. And what are we going to see in our second go-around of Splat Zones in this finals?
But there's
Muscle
definitely
Force
still a
Fitness,
lot
and
of
this
stuff
is
in
a
that
very
game
scary map to play it on here. They're the
that
big
we
size. Some people
haven't
call it the
seen.
volcano that you can come up, and it's a
And
big,
I think there's
zone
still
as
a lot
well.
of potential
I
for
think we're gonna see some bomb
DLC.
rush
Like I
perhaps
really
from both
hope that
teams,
they hit that
double
game
baller. Keep an eye out for
with
that.
lots
That
of
can flip the zone in a
updates.
heartbeat.
Well, I know you busted out some curls at Muscle Forge Fitness earlier
And
this
then, you
morning,
know,
so it's
add a
looking great right
non-ranked
there, my
mode.
friend. And Ashley, the GG
Would be
boys
good.
have to be feeling very
Then
confident
there
now
wouldn't be
because
like an
you're down
excuse
2-0.
not to
You've taken
be
the
able to
last
play
2, and it's
online
your
with your
game
friends.
mode that you really love to see.
Yeah, I mean, this
I think
is a
I think
really,
people
this is really
I think
in their
more
favor,
people
and
really
so
want
it will
that
be
than I
very
thought
difficult for
wanted
FT
it.
Win to come out and win this one, especially if GG boys can come out and really take that lead early. I think they have an excellent chance of holding that lead.
And 9, you look at the composition for the GG boys, and we saw for the first couple
First
of
game
modes, they
didn't
were
have
more
it.
so reacting to what FT Win was. It seems like the last 2 games, they've just decided, we're going to do what works best for us.
Yeah, I
And
literally
think that
watched
the mode
the
changing into
the
modes
Jedi
that are more
Fallen
comfortable
Order
allowed
thing,
them to
and
play
then I
that
was
game.
pretty much
And I
out.
think that the fact that they lost those first 2 games and now get
because
to go through
they were
3
talking
potential
about
wins before they
pretty
have to
much
see
games.
either
We,
of those again.
I mean, they're
There's
talking
plenty
about
of
games that
time
were already
for
out or
the
games that we already
This is
knew
a
a lot of stuff about already at that
right
point.
Here.
So
2-2 FT Win versus the
wasn't
GG
really any
boys.
point in
Whoever takes
sticking
this
around after
will
that.
be just 1 win away from the championship. And this Splatoon, Sterling, Squid, Muscle Forge Fitness. You've got FT Win representing North America in the yellow. And of course, the
If
GG
you watch
boys
like
of
the
Japan
first
in the blue.
15
Loadouts
minutes
9, what do we got?
of that thing,
Well,
then
I
you
was wrong.
you
There's
pretty
not going
much
to be a double baller. In fact, there's only going to be 1 baller on the
watch
map.
the part that you
Again,
need
these
to.
teams are going with some more
Unless you're like
ways to capture the
really
zone.
really
A lot
into
of
Apex
respect for each other
Legends.
right now.
But even then,
Grease as
if
well,
you
too,
watch
for
like the
GG
first
boys. Nobody's got the zone right now. The GG boys finally
35 minutes or
Let's see if
something,
they
then
can
you pretty much
maintain
saw all
and
you
provide a
needed
little
to
bit of
for
a
that
lockout.
too.
They're up 4
They just showed off the
already,
update.
actually, with FT Win having to spawn back.
Yeah, I mean, watching Ice jump away there, that was probably a really good idea because it wasn't looking too good for him. So they're going to have to FT One's going to have to regroup. Yamamichi already out there with the Sphinx.
Inkjet, Stingray ready to go, and 2 other specials for the GG boys. So 9, they're doing a great job of stacking their specials early on.
They are, and they're willing to trade as many people as it takes to build this big lead because we have seen how easy it is to flip a zone back. And as long as you're in the lead, you're okay with flipping it back and forth because you know the penalty continues to stack.
Seems like
That's
it,
such a
it's
great point.
used
You can take
for
the biggest fight
healing and
high
to
early on, you don't have that penalty, but right now, FT Win
like
trying to
unlock
lock out
areas.
GG boys trying to wrestle back control. You see the nice little 1v1 splat right there, and Shaq getting splatted as well too.
Hacking
GG
stuff,
boys with a 3-2
basically.
advantage.
Yeah, make it 3-1. How about that? Ice goes all the way back. Kyo saying, I'm just going to take down whoever
Doesn't
I
look
can
like it's
here.
doing
It's not
anything
like I was
too
gonna get
different
much
than
done
most
anyway.
like
So I like that, and I like the fact that
action
they
games
are
do.
continuing to fight, and that's actually a great way to continue to get your
But,
team
I mean, if you
spawned
like
again.
Star
I
Wars,
love this
then
overhead view. You see that they're
probably
trying to
pick it
build
up.
as much special meter as they can with very limited room to do it.
I think
And
they
they
said
have
that
the
it's
time
like
to do it because the penalty's going down right now for GG boys.
canon
They're not
or
improving on their
something.
score. FT Win also with a
But I
very
think
small
like, you know,
penalty, so they can
obviously
afford
that's
to be
what'll
a little
get
bit
you.
more
Like if
patient.
you really
The
like Star
Stingray
Wars,
from
then you'll be
Yamamichi
interested
once
probably.
again applying that pressure,
But
and
if you're
now
not so much
GG
in Star
boys
Wars, then
about
it's
30
not doing
seconds
anything
away
like
here,
too
Ashley,
different
making
that
it
any other
3-2.
action
Yeah,
games
GG
aren't
boys right
doing.
there. Yamamichi taking out Ice is a huge deal because they had FT Win had 3 different
But
specials
I
going
mean,
all at
to be
once. And so
fair,
to be able to
this is
take
what
one
I
of
said
those
about
off
it.
the board
It
is a
interests me
really,
more
really big
than
advantage
like
for GG boys.
Battlefront.
All right, FT Win has got control of the zone. Their
So.
penalty's done now. You see a sizable one for the GG boys. FT Win, if they're going to dig down deep and find something to apply some pressure against the GG boys, now's the time to do it. But the GG boys, 9, so calm, so cool, so collected. timing the use of their special so well.
Right, and I think that going in really deep with this Inkjet here might come back to bite. Taiji going to try to hide away and actually gets the pick on to kill. That's a big one. Fine taking that trade to Ice there. The frontline aggressor is gone, and now they have a Stingray that they can use to pick off Ice, who's a little bit slower of a weapon than Kill was.
You see that heavy Splatling trying to cover the zone, but the Stingray from Yamamichi continues to just dominate this matchup. GG Boys almost out of the penalty. They reclaim it. They've got a couple of
I'm still sad that that other Star Wars game got
and now,
canceled.
12 seconds away. GG Boys trying to
That
lock it
game
out. Here comes
sounded
Kill with a well-timed splashdown, though.
really
and
good,
FT
actually.
Win sees control and apply a penalty. They do. They're still in there, actually. Let's see if they can turn back the comeback on the GG Boys.
Kyo is doing an amazing job right now. I mean, 2 huge picks right there. That is going to give them a very, very nice cushion in which to pick up some points here.
A couple of specials being built up for the GG Boys. They're going to be ready to play some defense. FT Win, 9, you figured this is the time they have to lock out GG Boys if they want to come back at this thing.
They have, and watch the staggers of the specials here right now. They've already used 2 of them. The third one is going to go. They're going to try to make it feel like specials are coming all the time. 1 goes down and 1 jumped out. That's as good as 2 down. Let's make it 3 as well. And they are again fine trading these points as they get another one there. A little bit of a hiding squid there in the corner. But again, they're okay making that trade because with just 1 minute left, they know that they only have to do it maybe 1 more time.
And that's such a good point. They have control of the zone, and the timer is ticking down.
I just wish they would chill with the movies, man. They say they're gonna take a break, and then boom, there's more.
But the GG Boys, couple specials ready to go. They're just 5 seconds away. Can FT Win claim the zone? They do! Oh, with the last second, 1 point away. And now they wrestle it back from the GG Boys. And it's 4-3 on the map.
After that last one, man, I was like,
storybook ending in a splat zone matchup 9.
I mean, we could just end it here.
Kept the game alive for them twice. He won a 1v2 earlier. He had a splashdown to meet the bubbles. His splashdown there took it at the very end. He is willing this team to keep in this match.
Huge Stingray from Ice coming out right now. Oh, and gets a splash. FT Win just 33 seconds away from stealing victory from the GG Boys. It's 4-2 on the map here, 9. Ashley, they might get it done here.
I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is amazing. It looks like they may actually keep them out. Taichi's going to do his best here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
3 seconds left. No way. GG Boys in control. 8 seconds left and a complete wipe of FT Win. And the GG Boys, they were looking at defeat straight in the face, but they don't cower as they come up with the defensive
that was
stand
close.
of the tournament here, 9.
They did it with no specials.
That was really
they did
close.
That without a single special. Taiji's right
Wow.
there was not used at all in that push. I cannot believe it. To see a push, a 4-0 wipe at the end of the game when the opponent knows we just have to hold it for a handful of seconds, and to get it without needing a single special might be the best.
Look at this from Taiji. I mean, this is amazing. He gets in there. Kyo gets taken out. Atona right there, giving that support that's needed, and they're able to take that right back. Oh my gosh.
The 2v1, as you said, no specials required, just special ability from these players. The GG Boys almost losing a splat zone, which would have been a huge steal of a game by FT Win. You look at what this team is able to do. GG Boys now winning 3 straight games. They're 1 away from repeating as champions, but Ashley, it's the 2 game modes coming up here that FT Win has already won.
Right, they've already won these 2 game modes. I mean, they're coming in, they can say, we can come in confident here. And as we've talked about, even if they win this, you know, if they win this, tower control might be theirs, because as you were saying, 9, GG Boys, that might be their worst mode.
It might be, but they could not have asked for a better Rainmaker map. This is Kelp Dome Rainmaker right here, a fairly infamous map in the Splatoon community, but it is also the easiest map to defend. They're going to be able to stack 2 Stingrays, 3 Stingrays if you want. There's only one way the Rainmaker's going to push.
But you have to have the lead in order to defend. And what we've seen from FT Win is their ability to take early leads. But in these last 3 victories, it's been the GG Boys that have gone out first. If you're FT Win, how important is it for you in this one to take the early lead and take away the defensive advantage for the GG Boys?
I think it's a requirement. I think that if they have to play from behind, that will play exactly into how the GG Boys want to play. If the GG Boys get an early lead, I don't think FT Win can break through.
GG Boys just 1 game away from etching their names onto the Splatoon Sterling Squid once again. However, FT Win, they won Rainmaker earlier in this best of 7. They want to take Game 6 and give all of us a Game 7 here. The crowd's been fantastic. I know that this is what they've been looking forward to. At least a Game 6 here between two of the top squads in the world here, Ashley. Any pressure on any one of these teams at this point?
Going a little too hype in there on Avengers.
I mean, this both of them. You know, you've got FT Win. They gotta come out swinging. GG Boys have to do the
we don't even have the concept for yet.
This almost feels like the real pivotal. I mean, this is it for me. Like,
I just don't want you to be disappointed if it's not
Game 7. If we need a Game 7, it's gonna come into that Game 7 like really.
No, he's not talking. He's not talking about Ultimate Alliance.
How much of the time these teams have been using? There's so much strategy and counter strategy going back and forth. Once again, FT Win was just moments away from taking a 3-0 lead, but a come-from-behind last-second overtime victory and clam blitz by the GG Boys spurred a 3-0 run by them. They're now just one game away.
The teams have seen these maps ahead of time. I think they're taking the time to catch their breath.
Hype responsibly is what I would say. You can be excited, but
Rainmaker, Kelp Dome, GG Boys of Japan in the purple, one game away from claiming the championship. FT Win in the green. They're looking to push this thing.
We actually, like, even though we kind of know what it might be, we haven't even seen this thing yet.
You're gonna want to get a couple of picks,
which is dumb when you think about it. But you know Square Enix, man. They take forever.
Nice trade right there, some Stingray support, and we talked about trying to get the early lead and not able to do anything with the Rainmaker there right now, 9. And you look at the GG Boys, they have the player advantage on the map.
The fact that Shaq was only able to get one of those two, I think, was huge. And again, saving the punishment there and forcing
There's
Ice
a lot of
back
stuff
to spawn.
going on Twitter. People are not hyping responsibly. They're getting their hopes up a little too much, I think.
GG Boys, we talked about that early lead, how important it is for them. They're not on the board quite yet, but here they go.
They're taking it as like everything is fact right now instead of like they're taking rumor as fact. You can't do that.
Early lead. Now we might see more of that defense here, 9.
Well, 67, you're going to see a
it would be
lot
great
of stops right in that area. You see that door right there. You see the fact
if
that
something was announced.
That is the key moment.
But
the fact that Shaq was able to get all
we don't know for a fact that that's what's going to happen.
And completely gone. We're going to see Ice try to do the same thing on the other side.
Big
so this is either over in this game or
opportunity for the GG Boys. Yo, trying to get some pressure and chase out Etina. Etina trying to avoid all this flags. Oh, corner.
If FT Win wins, then
that is the tight corner you're trying
we got
to get
one more
into.
game.
And Ashley, FT Win doing what they wanted to, get an early lead.
Dynamon sitting here waiting, he's lurking around the corner. That hallway, I mean, that is a choke point of all choke points. So it's a very difficult get past there, especially with Taiji on that inkjet. He is so accurate.
Remember also, guys, if anything new is announced, try to keep it to the E3 hype train chat. If you want to talk about in the Discord. Just for now, since like people don't always get to watch stuff right away.
And I love the fact that they immediately opt to move up and try to put pressure on 2D. They know that someone is going to be
yeah, I am starting to get hungry, but man,
you
gotta.
And 2D able to get off his special and maybe even a pick. The fact that his special is
finish
there,
this
might
up.
be big for the defense.
The problem here is there's not going to be any time between when one starts and the next.
They're down 4-3 on the map right now, and the GG Boys are looking to steal the lead. But once again,
really earlier in the day should have like.
I mean, Ice is going to be there waiting for that corridor. I mean, that's where you hold that special for. As soon as they get to that doorway, it's time. Yamamichi, though,
no, it's not. They're completely different kinds of games, pretty much. Nintendo is publishing that game. They're not making it. If they hadn't published it, the game wouldn't have been made. And the Square Enix game, from what we know, is going to be very much a games as a service game. Like Destiny, like... Let's see, what other games are service games? Destiny, Anthem...
You're FT Win, you gotta dig it out of there. And if you're the GG Boys, you have a minute and a half of defense left.
That's what we're hearing. I mean, we don't have any official confirmation, but that's what we're hearing.
Not gonna survive that onslaught of burst bomb. Ashley, GG Boys.
So they're not even the same kind of game.
Down home base at this point.
They do, and Yamamichi already has his.
Seems like Square Enix is going for big money pools lately on their games. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be released in parts, so they're going to be able to sell it for much more than $60. And then this game, they're probably going to like have microtransaction like stuff. They're probably going to have loot box things, aesthetic things, and they're definitely going for like a lot more money making
You're gonna have time for about
type of
one more
games.
push here, 9. FT win, trying to keep their tournament hopes
My
alive.
question is,
Meanwhile, GG boys just moments away from
since
yet
they
another
love to
champion.
tease things way too
They're
early,
gonna try to probably let this
are
reset,
they
and
gonna
Dynamo gonna do
tease
whatever he can to just milk more time. He used
Final
that special
Fantasy
really early
16?
and even got the pick. Taiji's gonna grab it. He knows he's going down there, but they're keeping
like
the
that's the
Rainmaker there.
question. I don't know.
Seconds left, 3-1 on the field. GG boys.
No,
They can smell
absolutely not.
victory. They want to be repeat champions. They just have to protect the Rainmaker. FT win,
I
trying to
said,
turn things around.
Jesus.
The GG boys get it done, and how about that? Staring 0-3 in the face.
I said that the
Champions.
Avengers Project is going to be a games as a service like Destiny 2 and Anthem.
And the GG boys of Japan, your Splatoon 2 world champions for 20.
Also, this needs to be live.
Boys could have hoped for. Once they got that first big push that was opened up by a Stingray, a pick
Has
here,
nothing
a
to do
pick
with
there,
Switch.
All they had to do was keep it there, and that's why they got that win.
Ashley, how crazy was this? FT win when they were down 2-1 in the semifinals. They win 4 straight matches to take a 2-0 lead in the finals. The GG
We
boys, as
we just
mentioned,
haven't
that last
actually
second
seen
victory,
the
they win
Avengers
4 straight.
Project.
Here they are in the middle. They
Just haven't
are
seen it.
victorious. Give it up for the
So
GG
we don't
boys, your
actually know
Splatoon
what it's
2
gonna play like,
World
but
Championship 2019
there's basically
winners.
information out there that people have that they've posted that says like it's gonna be like this, it's gonna be like this, and that's all we know. So we don't actually know what it's gonna look like. I would imagine it's gonna look pretty, maybe, considering like
I mean, what
the
an
team's
absolute
working on
effort
it and
by
the amount of
every
time they're
single one of
taking,
those
but
players. I could possibly even pick an
I
MVP
mean, it
because
probably
I feel
will.
like that was a true team effort. Although I don't know, man, Yamamichi with those Stingrays. Woo!
it definitely seems like it's gonna be their answer to the games as a service. Like since Square Enix doesn't really have that for any of their games. Well, you know what? I guess in a way, Final Fantasy, the one Final Fantasy game is kind of like that.
World Championship 2019
But it's
winners here to honor and celebrate our champions here. Put your hands together for the man himself, producer for Splatoon.
Oh, here we go.
Mr. Nogami.
Maybe an announcement here. That's what we've been waiting for. Squid Research.
So as Mr. Nogami passes out the medals to our defending champions, we do want to give a round of applause to all of our teams here. Of course, Lime Soda from Australia, New Zealand, Alliance Road from Europe, and how about the fight that FT Win put up?
Alright, come on.
America?
Give us
Almost took the
something, man.
3-0 lead with the GG boys
Please.
once again, proving why they're champions and proving why they're so hard to splat. Back-to-back world championships for the GG boys, and now let's toss it down to Mr. Nogami for some comments.
それでは優勝した GG ボーイズの皆さん2連覇おめでとうございます
So congratulations to the GG boys on their second win in a row.
いや本当にちょっと裏で見ててももうドキドキするような戦いの連続でヒヤヒヤしましたけども本当に勝ててよかったなと思います
So I was pretty nervous myself watching your play backstage, but I'm happy to be standing here giving you these congratulations.
日本チームばっかりひいきしてるわけじゃないですけどねってはいすみません会場の皆さんも本当に盛り上げていただいてありがとうございます
And thank you everybody here in the stadium for getting so loud for this competition.
Yeah, there's a Smash tournament after this. But we never usually get announcements at those, but a lot of people, there are a lot of rumors flying around right now that there might be, but I would say it's probably still a low percent chance on that. But we always get something at this. Like, they always do announcements at the Splatoon tournaments. So it would be weird if we didn't get one.
So we previously announced that Splatfest would be supported for 2 years from Splatoon 2's launch. Next month on July 21st, Splatoon 2 marks its 2nd anniversary. And to coincide with that, we'd like to hold the last, the biggest, and baddest Splatfest of them all.
This is what I said they would announce. This is what I thought it would be. Yeah, this is it. The last Splatfest. This is it. Yeah, it's them versus each other. What are those outfits that they're wearing? Splat. Splatocalypse. The Splatocalypse. Ah. Yo. The artwork looks awesome for that.
So the theme for this final Splatfest is, which world would you choose, chaos or order?
ファイナルフェスでは新しいミステリーゾーンに加えて過去のフェスで登場した全てのミステリーゾーンが変わる登場します。
This final Splatfest will not only feature a new Shifty Station stage, but the Shifty Stations from all previous Splatfests will also make an appearance.
またファイナルフェスに合わせて特別なギアも配信されます。
And we'll also be distributing some unique new gear for this Splatfest.
There is new stuff.
開催期間は2019年7月18日から21日の72時間。
This event will take place over the course of 72 hours from the 18th of July to the 21st.
皆さんはこのイカたちの世界に何を望むでしょうか。最終決戦スプラトカリプスにぜひ参戦してください。
And so I ask you all, what sort of a world would you wish for the Inklings and their friends? Make sure not to miss out on this final Splatfest Splatocalypse.
Splatocalypse.
そしてファイナルフェス終了後の7月末頃に
There
更
it
新で
is.
きたバージョン
Last
5.0 を配信して
Splatfest.
プライベートマッチで使用できるルールに縄張りバトルフェスを追加します。
And last but not least, once the final Splatfest comes to a close, in late July we'll be releasing the version 5.0 update that will add the Turf War Splatfest to the modes you can choose
What?
in private battle.
このルールではファイナルフェスで新たに追加されるものを含む24のミステリーゾーンで縄張りバトルを楽しむことができるようになります。
In this mode, players will be able to battle out turf war matches on all 24 Shifty Station stages,
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
including the new stage released for the final Splatfest.
既存の23ステージもこのルールでは夜の風景となります。お友達と集まってプライベートなフェスを開催してみてください。
You'll also be able to to play the nighttime version of these 23 currently available regular stages in this mode. So get together with your friends and host some private Splatfests of your very own.
That's really cool.
定期的なフェスの開催とコンテンツの追加はこれが最後となります。ですが、スプラトゥーン2のオンラインサービスが終わるわけではありません。最後のお祭りを楽しみ、これからもスプラトゥーン2をお楽しみください。
As we've mentioned previously, this represents the last of our regular Splatfest events and new content updates. But this will not spell the end of Splatoon 2's online service. We hope you'll give it your all in the
Oh, of
final
course not.
Splatfest and continue to enjoy Splatoon 2.
はい、私たちからお伝えしたいことは以上です。もう一度優勝チームを祝福してあげてください。
So let's please cheer on our winners for today, GG Boys.
The last time we'll see a research team until Splatoon 3.
GG Boys, defending champions, and how about that bit of news that we get dropped on us as well too? Splatocalypse coming here, the final Splatfest. Guys, your thoughts on this?
I almost wonder if it's like
Man,
if it's
what a great championship series. I mean, that's the type
a
of
hint towards
series you
what
always
Splatoon
wanna
3 is
see,
actually going to be
especially in
about.
Splatoon. These are two great teams. It was a joy to watch them.
And I think anytime you have a tournament that is this good, that ends like this, with this level of competition, you can't help but be hopeful that the game has so much room to grow and continue to surprise us.
Shout out to all of our teams. Thank you once again, Ashley, 9, Milana, as well, these fantastic fans. But get set, we have the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate World Championship 2019 3v3. Fish, Kells, and EE bringing you that action. We'll see you here shortly.
I think people are excited for that. Real excited for that.